nothing is cooperating this morning, so just bear with us. Hey, Leroy, we'll be with you guys in just a minute. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound. Okay, well, Be the Verse says that they heard us, so we're good. We'll say hey to everyone in a minute. We're just still getting set up, so bear with us.
Don't eat avocado toast in 2022 before watching this video.
I'll eat avocado toast any damn time that I please. Don't tell me what to do, YouTube. Okay, we're in the live chat. Okay. We're going to keep an eye on you, and hopefully you're not a Russian troll. If you're not, welcome. If you are, you're going to be banned real quick, so don't bother to post your little links to porn sites, okay? Our patience is not what it normally is today. Okay. A few more seconds. Mute this while I'm moving stuff around. Mute. Thank you. Okay, let's see here. Let's share. We're good. Chat. I want live chat. All is visible. Live chat. All messages are visible. Okay. Looks like we are centered-ish. Man, nothing is cooperating today. Every time I move this, the dang tripod unlocks itself. Friction fit tripods are no fun. One of these days, we're gonna have to get real equipment. I mean, it is real, but better stuff, like a better camera maybe, so we're not constantly fiddling with our cell phone. Okay. Okay, there we go. Sort of, maybe. That's gonna have to do, guys. Sorry if everything isn't centered perfectly, but it's one of those days, you know? Oh. Tea. Not exactly Percival approved, but it's still better than the stuff in the tea bags, which he was 100,000% right about. Okay, that looks good. All right, we just took the glasses off because we always end up taking them off anyway. Wow, 11 of you already. Okay. Make sure that the volume is down so that we're not redoing it. Okay, the way that we do this is we've got the camera in front of us, and it's too small to do the chat, so we would have to be going in and out all the time. So we have our little tablet here where we keep a tap of the chat. So if we're looking down or we're looking to the side, we're not ignoring you, we're trying to read your comments. So let's go ahead and scroll back up, and of course it just, there we go, live chat, there we go. Alrighty. So let's say hey to everybody. Hey, Leroy Southgate, welcome. Don't think we've seen you on a stream before. If not, it's hard to keep track sometimes. So, but hey, welcome to the stream. This be the verse. Hello, welcome. Hello, we hope you're well. No worries at all. That's our usual experience of technology as well. Yeah, we're just having one of those mornings where nothing is working, or it's like, ugh. Okay. Oxymoron, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Grace to Grace, hello. We're seeing some of the usual crowd here. Starry Girl, hello. Hope you're doing well. Blue Rose, don't think we've seen you before. Welcome to the stream if we haven't. Also, if we know you guys from another name, we tend to remember and refer to folks by their YouTube handle. So if that's the case and you changed your name, let us know. Or if there's a particular alter fronting that you would like to be referred to by that name, please be sure to drop it in the comments or say so in the comments so that we know who we're addressing. Otherwise, by default, we will simply call you by your YouTube name or an abbreviation thereof. So let's see here. Sorry, girl, just punched out of work. I hope that means clocking out and not, punching someone. Although if you did, just we've had those days. We're going to assume you mean, clocked out. Let's see. Sumi Sky, hello. Don't think that we've seen you around. Welcome to the stream. Grace to Grace, we already caught you. Sipping peppermint bark black tea here in, I think that's Mississippi. No, Missouri. Sorry, data's still cogitating. Yes, right here we have blood orange black tea. It's actually very good. It's kind of like if you guys have had Constant Comment, it's that same flavor profile, but way better. Like we said, Percival was dead on exact about American tea being crap, or at least the way that we make it. So now it's nothing but loose leaf prepared in the proper Percival method, but we were busy this morning, so we didn't actually warm the pot first, which is like the crucial step apparently, or at least for him. But for time's sake. So let's see here. Pia, hello, welcome. Good to see you there. Yeah, we're feeling a little better. It's just been one of those grumbly mornings, so I'm sure that we'll snap out of it, and in a bit here, we're already starting to come up. Let's see here, Pia. Okay, so Mark, hey Mark, good to see you again. Happy to see you in the live stream again. Happy to see you guys. Luna's Fellowship System. Hey, can't stay long. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Luna. Glad to see you. We'll take you for as much time as we possibly can. We're a little out of sorts this weekend because normally we do these on the last Saturday of each month, but we caught a flu or a bug or something annoying that made us feel like crap last week. So we went ahead and decided to do it this week instead. So we'll have another one at the end of this month, but this is actually the one for January. So you're time traveling. Ooh. Cue the Doctor Who theme song, or Quantum Leap, which we understand is getting a reboot, which, hey, let's just hope that they don't screw it up. Okay, anyway. So yeah, we're feeling a little better, Pia. And Luna. Bugbean, hello, good to see you. Okay, yeah, Blue Rose says first time that they're here, welcome. We'll go over the rules in a minute. They're real short and real brief. Just let us get caught up and say hello to everybody. Yeah, okay, Grace to Grace. I kind of figured that you were Grace to Grow, no problem. Starry Girl clocked out, yes, okay. Oxymoron says they're okay, doing well. Been up since 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. Ow. That's a long shift. Thank you for sticking around to visit or relaxing with us. Feel free to check out and, get some rest, obviously. Let's see here. Grace to Grace. Yeah, Michigan, thank you. Not quite quick and not quite clicking, as you can tell. There's the alexithymia, where the brain center and the speech center get separated. Let's see. So Steph saying hello, welcome. Jocelyn Orland, Fearly Star, been up since 3 a.m. Oof. And Jocelyn, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Okay, I think that's everybody. Yeah, the snow caused so many call-offs. Yeah, it's been a brutal winter this year, particularly for you guys on the East Coast. I hope everybody is safe, has power, and is staying warm, because, man, where we're at, it's cold AF. No snow, but it's cold. So yeah. Okay, let's see. Call 6. Okay, looks like we've got most folks to 17. All right, let's go ahead and couple of shout outs real first. We've got two of the people that we want to thank in the chat already, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's see. First announce, well, actually, we're going to hold off on that for just a second. Let's go ahead and go over the rules for you new people. Our streams are a little bit different. Rather than this being all about us and answering Q&A, we're more than welcome to do that. But rather than this stream being all about us, what this is we prefer to run the classic Greek idea of a forum. Those of you who are regulars in our live stream, we know this. You can probably repeat this verbatim with us. But we go ahead and we share all our thoughts and all of our experiences. If somebody has a question, it can be answered by anyone in the group. Feel free to chime in at any point in time. Speaking to us, we try to answer every question and whatnot and keep up with the chat log, but it can run pretty fast sometimes, and we always kind of we're about 5 minutes behind you guys in the actual commenting, so keep that in mind. We will try to get to your question. If we somehow miss it, please let us know and we'll scroll back. So I see a cat poking its nose under the door, but I'm not going to get up right now. The rules. Here are the rules. Okay, everybody say them with us. You have the right to your opinion. You have the right to state your opinion. You do not have the right to abuse other people with your opinion. Don't troll, post porn links, start crap, or stir the pot just for your own amusement. We have been on the internet since before it was created. We know all the tricks. We know all the trolls. We have a big band hammer, and we have mods that have the same, and we will use them without a second's thought. So save yourself some time, save us your time, and go troll for lulz elsewhere. Got it? So those are the rules. With that said, let's go ahead and check in. Okay, looks like we're actually caught up. We're doing well so far. So we want to go ahead and do a couple of different things. The first off, continuing on our last live stream, we've had a lot of folks over the course of time and the growth of the channel offer to send us things or want to send us little thank yous or things like that. Thank you very much for wanting to do that. That is a really cool thing. We appreciate the thoughts, but we had to wrestle with the idea of getting a P.O. box, and there's a couple reasons why we eventually decided against it. And basically it boils down to system safety and cost. We looked into anonymous P.O. box and things like that, but what it still came down to is that you still kind of need the address in the state in the city to send the stuff to, even if we get one like at a post office or something or a mail center. And frankly, we just don't want to tip our hand at this point as to where we live. We're very careful about preserving our privacy and that of our family, and we don't live in an area where being an open system would be a good idea. So that said, we did a lot of chewing it over and thinking. So what we decided to do instead, and we asked you guys about this last live stream, and you all seemed cool with it, was we decided to set up a Buy Me a Coffee account over, there's just buymeacoffee.com/Infinity System, I think. We've posted it in the description of all of our videos, and we'll go ahead and throw it in the description of this when we get done. So if for whatever reason you want to buy us a coffee or buy us a cup of tea or whatever, feel free to head on over there. It's a way for you to express your gratitude, and it's a way for us to safely receive it. Our thoughts on it are it's not necessary. Don't do it if you can't afford it. Don't do it because you feel obligated. Only do it because you truly, really want to. Because we were taught that when somebody gives you a gift or offers something to you, the polite thing to do is to say thank you and take it. So we're not going to go against that principle, but this is the comfortable medium that we found between our, oh, why do you want to send us things we're not worthy type of thing, or this really kind of makes us uncomfortable, versus we get that you guys want to express your appreciation, and we're not going to deny you that because that would just be as tacky as openly asking. So that's all of that. So that said, we'd like to go ahead and give a shout out to those who have bought us a coffee, starting off with Mark. Thank you very much, Mark. Hannah, from the Crystalline Structure here on YouTube. We're not sure if you're in the chat yet or not. We haven't seen you. And Pia, also, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it, guys. What we're going to do is we're just going to leave it in there as kind of like a miniature nest egg. And if it builds up, maybe we'll get some better equipment. If not, it'll probably put some gas in the gas tank. So that's all of that. That's why we decided to do it. Look for that if you choose to contribute. Not necessary. So thank you. Big shout out and thank you to those who have contributed. We greatly appreciate it. So now that all of that is taken care of, let's see if anybody's got any questions down there. If you do, feel free to ask anything you want. If you got something really heavy, try to trigger warning it there. But as our longtime stream viewers can attest, our streams can get real heavy. We can go anywhere from real light and fluffy to real heavy. So you never know exactly where we're going to go with this, but we will trigger warnings. So if you guys will do the same, that'd be great. Okay, so let's see if you got questions. Let's see here. Call of sucks. Grace to Grow. Alexithmia. My dear one trips his words, especially when tired or stressed. I've said it was a slight stutter, but he says it's because he was dyslexic as a kid. I'm not certain about dyslexia. We can't speak to that because we don't have it. Alexithmia is where the brain is. What is this? Holy crap, Mark. Dude, thank you. Holy hell, I'm not even sure how the heck you did that, but wow, cool. Thank you. We're blown away, folks. So sorry, totally. Our train of thought just went whoosh. Thanks. Seriously. So alexithmia, that is where the speech and the emotion centers of the brain, the two hemispheres, are not communicating properly. Now, keep in mind that Data is normally the one with all of this information. He's currently doing whatever it is that Data does when he's not sharing the front with me, which is, and it's Chris fronting for those of you who didn't know. But we've been kind of soup lately, so you never know. Anyway, he deals with all the things. But alexithmia is where your speech center basically gets cut off. This happens to us when we are under duress, and particularly when we're in the middle of a flashback or something, or a flashback from either Christopher D., John, or Christopher in that period. Generally, the only ones, Christopher talks, but it's like, toddler. He's only 3, maybe 4, and his speech was delayed because of the trauma. So he tends to communicate with us more in feelings and emotions rather than words. And he, like we've said, we're not going to show the littles here. There's like a 99.99999% chance that that's not going to happen. For a variety of reasons, which we won't go into. So the alexithmia and the stuttering is actually much more common among John, who has, we don't want to get into that right now, but he's actually been showing a few signs of progress. He's still not aware of us, but he had fronted, we let the littles out to play, and they were in the same room with our wife on her big animal print carpet. She's a teacher, so she has, she brings the stuff that she's not using home since she paid for it in the first place from the previous year. So she's got this really great big animal print rug with, like jungle leaves and fronds and whatnot on it. So we dragged out the Lincoln logs and the box, and we had just basically let the littles front, because we try to do that, try to give them time every week, but it's we're bad about it. Because frankly, it's still freaky for us to let the littles take the front. It feels really uncomfortable, and because we just, when we come back, we don't know what happened. We don't know anything. It's just all of a sudden, either we're cleaning it up, or actually our littles are very fastidious. They always clean everything back up and put it away, probably because that's what we were taught and told to do, and bad things happened if you didn't. Actually getting to play with toys, that was a privilege. That was not a given. It was we have to ask permission, and it was only if it was allowed and what was allowed. So there's that. But we were out there, and apparently he had fronted there, which really surprised us because even though our wife is kind of like in a little cubby with her desk, she's still there. And John freaks anyone. He freaks. Yeah, and in ways that I can't even begin to tell you. Cowering behind the furniture is the least of them. But apparently she asked him what he was building, and he stuttered or was having difficulty speaking. So yeah, to get back to the alexithymia, this is one of the effects of trauma. It cuts it off. So whenever we get really in duress, we start to stutter because the brain hemispheres are misfiring. So grace to grace, or grace, that's basically what it is. If you want anything more in depth, you'd have to ask Data. And actually, you know what? I tell you what, we're just going to go ahead and make that an episode idea. Because that's my limited understanding, and Data is much better at these things. So we thanked you guys. Episode on alexithymia. Okay, that'll be like a good short one. Let's see. Also, for those of you who are new, our content is a little different. Okay, it's a lot different from other channels. Basically, we look upon the channel as basically I don't want to say a playground, but it's a place where each of our alters can express their own various interests. Data and Data does his brainy, explanatory, this is things video, like the one that we just did on the 2 parts on substance abuse and DID. That's all his thing. All of our big heavy videos, that's all his thing. Percival does the little stories. For those of you with littles who have not ran across it yet, we have an entire playlist called Little Stories, which provides a safe space for the littles. Think Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but for DID littles. So he reads them stories and gives them a moral and whatnot. And in the safe space, we have what we call our wall of sheep. Each little can ask to have their name put on a sheep, and we will go ahead and put it on our wall, which is right over here to the left. I would show you, but the way this tripod has been today, I don't want to mess around with it. I finally got it where it is. But the sheep look like this. Okay, so there's a lovely, cute sheep that was originally artwork by Rose's Rent, who hasn't shown up yet as far as I know. They are a very close friend to us, and is one of our big means of support. So this is entirely their artwork. They gave us permission to use it. So if your little would like a sheep, feel free to go ahead and write their name, or have them write their name either in the comments down here below, or hit us up on our community post. Or if you're not comfortable doing that, we're always available via DM on Instagram. We may not get back to you for 24 to 48 hours or so, just simply because our schedule is whack. We're, have a family and everything, and all the rest that goes along to us. But if you'd like a sheep to go here in the safe space, let us know, and we'll make sure to get one up by the end of or by the next episode. I think we got about 10 or 12 new ones, so feel free to drop that down there. Okay, so let's see. Covered a lot of things right there. Let's go ahead and see where we're at in the chat. Hey, that rhymed. We're a poet and didn't know. Let's see here. So alexithymia, I hope that gives you a brief explanation. Mark, you know the ARPANET too. And you've been around a long time because you know that term. Yeah, we know the ARPANET and where that came from, the bulletin board system. We both know the history. Fascinating stuff, and yeah, we've been around that long. We've been around that long. So let's see here. Crystalline structure, nah, thank you. I'm not sure what that was, but okay, cool. Let's see here. Mark says our nest egg needs stuffing. Thank you very much. Actually, more like starting, but thank you. We greatly appreciate your generosity, Mark. Be the verse. Do you have any tips for working on being able to co-front between 2 or 3 people at once? Co-consciousness. We try to practice each grounding to the front and body, but always end up sort of switching back and forth. Yeah, that's basically our experience as well. Even when everybody tries to work together, it can be tough because you have to take into account not only are you dealing with, okay, Data's starting to wake up now. Because not only are you dealing with the conscious influence of, okay, say I want to co-front with uh, Rosemary or something. We tend to do these things naturally anyway because we grew up together, as it were. So we've always been used to hearing each other in our heads and working that way. That was one of the biggest tells. We thought that everybody had voices and friends in your head that you talked to and you held arguments with and conversations and people that would never shut the heck up all your life, on and on and on. Not so much. So for us, we're a lot better at co-fronting, but it can be a challenge at times because you're fighting against the conscious impulse and then also the subconscious impulses or the passive influence. There may be somebody in the background that's going, hey, no, this is supposed to be my time, or I want to sit here, and they may try to be pushing to the front. It takes a lot of practice sometimes. Like we were just saying with the littles, at first we tried co-fronting with them, and that the trouble is that when we're not co-fronting directly amongst the AMPs who are used to doing it, we get what we kind of call a memory drain or a blankness. It's like we're vaguely kind of sort of sometimes aware of when they're fronting. It's almost like listening to somebody's TV in an apartment three apartments away, late at night, or you can kind of hear the noise, but you can't make out whatever's being said. It's kind of like that for us. So tips would just be try to get everybody on board and along the same schedule. We have meetings basically where I just kind of say, okay, everybody, what's the plan for the day? Does anybody want to do this stuff? It's like, for example, we're trying to schedule it out into an actual schedule, as in this is Rosemary's day, this is Percival's day. Unfortunately, because of our duties in our life, we can't. That really doesn't. It's difficult for one of us to just be out for the whole day because so many of us deal with different aspects. For example, so it just works easier if we co-con rather than fully front. For example, Rosemary takes care of most of the cooking, but she doesn't front unless she feels it necessary to. She just kind of takes over, floats to the front and makes sure that everything's going okay as I'm doing it, and makes pointers and criticisms and everything else while I'm doing it. So I'm trying to push up my glasses that aren't there. But then there are times when we will fully front, but it's like with the littles, we have to not only set that time aside, but then force all of ourselves to not try to take that time for ourselves. And this is what we're trying to get better at. So tips would just be try to communicate as much as possible between not only the ones that want to co-con, but those that don't. Make sure to kind of get everybody on the same page so that you're not dealing with a lot of the passive or active influence from the other alts. That would kind of be the best advice that we can give you just off the top of our heads. Somebody else here in the chat might have some great tips. That's one of the great things about the live streams. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight there. We're going to go ahead and get back to the chat log here real quick. So yeah, try to practice each grounding. Yeah, exactly. And that does help, practicing the grounding. And also one other thing that you want to watch out for when you're switching, even co-con, is if you start to develop that severe headache. It's called a TITH, Transitional Interpersonality Thunderclap Headache. These are the nasty headaches you get where you would just be happy if somebody would, take care of you. So I'll write you an excuse. These are caused by the blood pressure changes in your brain as you switch, and particularly as you hard switch, or if you've got two alters that want to shove their way to the front at the same time. If you feel those coming on, stop and self-care, because it's just, don't push. It's not going to work right now. Put it aside, self-care, and do it for later, because these can be dangerous. There is a direct risk that if you push too hard and get too stressed out, you can conceivably pop a blood clot, and that's not a good thing. So hopefully that will give you some tips there. And a few warning. Let's see, Mark's saying they're trying to get over that feeling of giving up control when I let somebody else front. Worse, though, is the immediate period of dissociation that feels uncomfortable. Yeah, we know exactly what you're talking about. It's almost like if you are co-conscious in some way with them, when you come back, it's like all of the memories drain away. It's like the first time that Mimi fully fronted for Halloween a couple of years ago. To be honest, we really didn't trust her at that time and trust her to give the front back. So Data and I kind of co-conned through that experience. The minute that she switched back, it's like she took all of that with her, because again, it was only like vaguely kind of like watching over a person's shoulder, over a person's shoulder. But the minute that she decided, the memories just went, and you get that disorientation. And we have had hard switches where 1 minute we'll be sitting there, and then the next, all of a sudden, it's like 2 hours later or whatnot, or a day, or it's like, okay, who the hell was just in my head? I know we were doing things, I know we were functioning, but it weren't me. Where are those memories? So yeah, that can be profoundly confusing for sure. And as far as letting them take over, Mark, that's we fight with that. It's weird, okay? Uh, it's weird. There's just no way around it, particularly for older guys like us who were raised the way that we were in the time period that we were. This is some really freaky crap. And just even if you weren't, raised with that set of mores or in that environment, it can be profoundly strange, because it's like you feel like you're losing bits of yourself, and you simply have to trust that your alters are going to let you have the front again. Now, one thing at least we found that's true for us is that no matter how pushy they are at the beginning, and I want the front, it's like really pushing their way towards it. We found that once they have it and they've done what they want, they get bored, and then they don't know what to do, so they retreat to the back, and then all of a sudden we're back again. So there's also that built-in safety valve, as it were. You can trust that. Oh, it's like when you're really stressed out or something, you're eventually going to fall asleep, and you'll come back to yourself. This is actually what happens with hyperventilating. You can pass out, but the worst that's going to happen is you're going to pass out in an event, and your body will regulate, and you'll come back to yourself. Same thing, but with the mind. They may not want to hang on for that long. We found that. It's like Bootstraps, he'll come out, he'll do his thing, and then it's like, okay, I've watched my movie or whatever, I'm out of here. Because it's just he's not used to having that freedom to do whatever the hell he wants. So I hope this is making some kind of sense. But yeah, it's scary, man. You'll get used to it, and this is part of building trust between your alters. It's one of those things, because that loss of identity and that loss of self, particularly as you've lived your whole life considering yourself a single being or a single identity, it can be scary. It's profoundly freaky, and it takes a while to get used to it. Okay, so before we ramble on anymore, let's go after that. So Mark, hope that answers your questions. Pia says they're welcome. Excellent. Okay, Kate. Hello, Kate. We're glad that you made it for the screen. It's always good to see you. I only came out with safe people. We have 3 now that we see your videos. Yeah, good, Kate. We're glad that you're littles, and I think you're little right now. Hello, little one. Make sure you have permission to be out, okay? And we're glad that you like the stories. Percival, particularly, he loves all you littles, and he wants to make you guys feel safe, okay? And so do the rest of us, but that's particularly his thing. Okay, so Grace to Grace, yay, episode on alexithymia. Yeah, I think this is what my Dio's experiencing too. Gives me a new thing to be sensitive to. Yeah, and there's so many things. Thank you for that. For you NTs or just folks who support a system, yeah, I know that it seems like a never-ending cascade of crap that you have to deal with. There's always something new. We're always flying off the handle at this. We're always sullen or sulky or things like that. We may think that you're picking up on our signals, and in fact, they're so subtle that you're just not picking up on it at all. Unfortunately, there's kind of this thing where we just expect you to read our minds, and that's not going to happen. So we thank you, all of you people who are out there to support systems, for putting up with it and for putting up with us. But please know that we feel bad about it. We feel terrible about it. You have to understand the guilt, blame, shame spiral is there all the time. It's so easy for us to fall right into that, and that's a big part of your work is learning to undo those trauma associations. So thank you for cutting us the slack and loving us and supporting us even when we're assholes, especially when we're assholes. So Let me put this on portrait mode real quick. There we go. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, yep. Hello, Mr. Troll, Sister blah, 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 online. You are going bye-bye. We warned you. Remove. And let's see if we got anyone. Delete a message. And we're just simply going to block and remove. So bye-bye, Mr. Rashuith, whatever the hell that was. Nobody click on any links from these Russian-sounding names in the chat, please, because they lead to bad places, and we eradicate them as rapidly as we possibly can. Okay, so back to it. Okay. Sorry Girl says that they have discovered a new little. Is the name Lizzie on your wall? Let us check. We don't have our master list up at the moment, so let's check the wall. Lizzie. This is why we keep you guys alphabetical. We have Lily, Leo, Lunar System left. No, we do not, so we'll make sure to jot that one down in our new little sheep. I need 2 more hands. New sheep. Lizzie. Got it. Okay. Where'd the cat go? On the floor. Okay, so we'll have Lizzie for you, Starry Girl, on the next show, along with all the others. So let's see. Dragons, welcome. Don't think we've seen you in the chat before. Welcome to the channel. Cool name. We love dragons. Let's see. When I switched to host, I started getting DID denial and more amnesia. Does this happen to anyone else? Felix. Okay, sorry. Felix. We'll call you that from now on. Let's see. Started to get DID denial. Oh, yeah. Denial is constant. Denial is constant. If you haven't seen it yet, we did a series called Denying DID. It's a 3-part. The way that we do all of our parts are, in part 1, we give you a piece of raw footage that we recorded when we were at the beginning of our journey. We just kind of, every night we would set up the camera and kind of free associate just to try to get, as an ancillary to therapy, some of our thoughts out, just to get them out. Now we're actually glad that we did, because there's a lot of info there that we didn't realize that we were giving at the time, and examples of things. So we always give a direct example in the first part, and then in the second part we'll go into the meat of it, and then in the third generally it's more meaty, or it's wrap up. So the one that you're looking for is called Denying DID. The second episode is really where all the meat of it is. It's called Trauma Doesn't Lie, and it has been our bulwark against the denial, because it gives you a brick wall that you cannot run up against, because you always come back to the gist of it. You should watch it, but the gist of it is that trauma doesn't lie. If you have these trauma symptoms, and they're specific, they are general and both specific, you've got something there under the surface. Something has to be causing these symptoms. So every time that your brain goes, oh, well, I could just be making this up, they couldn't possibly, you hit that, okay, I've got the trauma, therefore trauma doesn't lie. It's like, damn it, this really did happen, no matter how much I want it not to. So it gives some good tools there to help deal with that. So please feel free to check that out, Felix. It's helped a lot of folks. Maybe it'll help you too. Okay, so that was the Russian troll that we already got rid of there. If you see any others pop up, bring our attention to them, but we'll catch them. 420 Witch, hello. How's it going over there? Good to see you. Hello, my amazing friend. Thank you much. You're pretty amazing too. Okay, here we go. Starry Girl is saying to Felix Dragons, our host still has denial every now and then. It's very common. Yeah, particularly in the beginning of your journey. Blue Rose, my little ones would like to be on the wall, but sheep are a trauma trigger for us. So maybe later if we worked through that memory. Okay, sorry. That's sorry about that. We only show the sheep briefly at the beginning of the episode or whatnot. So, and Percival does do it. So feel free to skip ahead past that point. And in fact, we'll try to timestamp that. From now on, just in case. Let me make a note of that. It's a lot of extra work, but we're willing to help if you guys are. Timestamp sheep bit. Got it. But yeah, take your time. If you ever want one on the wall, just let us know. Okay, let's see here. Mark, I was able to do a confronting switch once or twice, but it was kind of weird. Co-fronting, I'm sorry, a co-fronting switch once or twice, but it was kind of weird. While Barb was fronting, she slowly started fading, while at the same time I tried fading in. It worked, but it unnerved me. Yeah, that's that weird in between that we were talking about, the memory drain. It's like they drain away and then they come back. Yeah, you're just brace yourself for a lot of really weird little twisty mind experiences like that. Okay, you remember in Willow where the dude's like, "You must unlearn everything that you've learned." Welcome to the roller coaster that is DID. Okay, keep at it, Mark. It gets easier. It's never going to be easy, but it does get easier. I don't know. Maybe you'll get it easier. We shouldn't make ultra black and white statements like that. Anyway, let's see. Starry Girl says the way we do it is we have an app that basically lets us text each other on the phone. It's weird, but it works. Hey, no, that's a great method. A lot of folks will journal. We have a journal over there that's marked messages to each other. We've only actually written or found messages from others there 2 or 3 times because like I said, we grew up, so we're mostly co-con with the ANPs. And when the EPs start to come out, it's real easy to tell. So we kind of make mental post-it notes, and that's worked for us, but a lot of folks will do like a journal or literally post-it notes, voice recordings we've heard. So that's a great technique there, text messages. I didn't think about that one, so we may have to try that. Just as kind of like notes that one wants the others to know. But yeah, that's a great idea. Great idea. Sorry, girl. Let's see. 420 Witch, glad to see you're feeling better, friend. Yeah, we kick stuff pretty rapidly. Our immune system has degraded a bit as we've gotten older. Once you pass that 40 years old mark, stuff starts to slow down a little bit, which is why it's important to keep yourself active because you ain't going to get it back, so you have to maintain it. So yeah, we kick stuff fairly quick. Generally, most severe illnesses or whatnot, it will be down 2-3 days, or depending upon who wants to front to deal with it, because all of a sudden we get sick and everybody's got something else to do. No, Chris, you can be at the front for this. Thanks. Okay, so let's see. Naomi's saying, "Hi, Chris. Sorry if I already said it, but how are you doing?" Basically, we just covered it. We're doing good. We had the illness. Couple of issues, things that happened here at home, not really worth going into, just more stuff. We may give you an update on that next week. Some of it is, or next, at the end of the month, because some of it's still kind of in flux, and we've talked about it before, but, don't want to sidetrack the stream too much. So, but overall, we've been doing pretty well. Jocelyn, hello, it's good to see you again. Haven't seen you around yet. Or, well, I mean, in a while, we've seen you around, obviously. Okay, this be the verse. Okay, meetings, plans, and schedule is something we haven't tried yet, so that's a great new idea to try. Your explanation makes a lot of sense. Also had an aha moment when you said passive influence. Yeah, and if you haven't seen our 2-part series on passive and active influence, I think we called it Who Did That? DID, there's only so many clever little DID puns that you can do, and we kind of try to avoid those. Our episode titles are probably kind of dull for you guys. We try to make them cute, but not nauseating or clickbaity, because we hate clickbait. Okay, so let's see here. Jocelyn and Naomi are talking. Excellent. Be the verse is saying, thank you very much, and God, yes, we get the impact drill headache if we practice for too long between too many people or too often. We were pushing through, so thank you. We will definitely rest now. Yeah, TITH, transitional interpersonality thunderclap headaches. They actually do have a name. And yeah, so if you feel one of those bad boys coming on, ibuprofen and yeah, self-care. Self-care big time. Because they can be brutal. And no, they are brutal, period. Okay, so let's see. Mark is saying that they're fully co-conscious, but I only get vague memories from my others, but I see everything. We know what you're talking about. Don't be surprised if there aren't some non-cos in there, though, that you're not aware of yet. We're not saying this will be the case, but we know we've got at least one. And there were a couple of our alters that started off as kind of being non-COCON that eventually decided to come to the front or appeared at the front. We're still a little unsure exactly how that works. Whether they choose it or circumstances goes, okay, here, you're ready for the front. We're not sure. But yeah, watch out for that. Basically, Mark, just when you think that you've got everything figured out, something's going to come along and yank that rug right out from underneath you. But it does settle down a bit. But just fair warning, like we said, buckle up. Your reality is re-altering. Let's see here. He's saying just this, or they're saying just this afternoon, my little had to remind me of something that I had forgotten. Yeah, you'd be surprised how much the littles will hold. It's one of the first things that was weird for us. Sorry, we're going to digress here. I know that we do that a lot anyway. When the littles first started fronting, particularly when Christopher started fronting, well, early on when we started working through the trauma, because he was the first one that came out, we had forgotten what it's like to be a child, as in the perspective, as in the way that you perceive the world. It's completely different, and we had completely forgotten how that felt. And it was like, oh my God, we've lost this vital, precious thing, and we can now appreciate it using the adult perspective while still being in it. I don't know if you know what we're not really making sense on this, but yeah, the littles will have some astonishing perspectives. And don't be surprised if you don't run across one that acts very much older than they actually are, because a lot of the times with trauma victims, we were forced to act older. We were forced to take care of our own emotional and sometimes physical needs because those who were supposed to take care of us didn't. Okay, so yeah, let's see, where were we? Scrolling down. Let's see here. Hang on, we got a little lost here in the chat. Log. Okay, there we are. Sorry. Headmates 2 aren't all that interested in fronting, although Barb is starting to develop an interest in my husband. That's not a bad thing. There's about 3 of us, in addition to me, that consider themselves married to our wife. That's a whole other kettle of worms in a can we're not going to get into here. We may do an episode on that sometime, but we actually do cover that a little bit in our Learning to Love Again video, Sex, Trauma, and DID. So yeah, there's some more info there if you haven't already gotten to it. Okay, so let's see here. Texting on the phone. Job going, passive influence. Okay, there we go. Barb started to develop an interest in your husband. Okay, oxymoron saying that they're almost always co-conscious and lose many of the memories of what happened later. Yeah, it's that memory drain effect. And depending upon whether or not the alter wants to keep their time private, Mimi does this all the time, though that may just not come back at all. So yeah, not at all unusual there. Let's see. Felix, or Dragons, is saying they're not getting a choice in fronting. Our living situation is making us on high alert all the time, and I'm forced to the front. Yeah, that's the stress response cycle kicking in. Most of trauma victims and systems are constantly on high gear and high alert because our stress response cycle got stuck in the on position as the trauma encodes on the brain that need that state. We never resolve, so we're constantly... You know, I mean, we could walk into a room, any room, and within 2.5 seconds tell you where everyone in the room is, where our relationship to the exits are, where their relationship to the exits are, what they're wearing, whether or not they have any purse or bag or anything that might possibly be a threat to us, their emotional state, whether they're looking at us, whether they're not. It's like all of this stuff that we take in because we grew up, our senses are constantly on high alert, and it burns us out. This is why you guys may be so damn tired all the time, is because your body it's gotten used to the higher levels of adrenaline and cortisol. It takes a toll. So we feel you, Felix. We feel you, because particularly for us when we're out, Bootstraps has gotten a lot better about this, particularly since Nigel agreed to co-front with him, or at least be his support. When we're out, Bootstraps will front. If he gets irritated, it'll be right there, and we're ready to have that fist fight in the Walmart parking lot, or say something nasty that could probably get us arrested. It's that trauma can trigger the alt who's the most confrontational, or the protector or the persecutor. Some of them serve a dual role. We had initially identified Bootstraps as a protector and a persecutor, but actually we've discovered over the course of time that he is more of a protector, and is responsible for that. He's the first one to go up. We actually, he had an incident with our neighbor last week, actually, where we very well could have ended up having the cops been called, and actually he got the neighbor to back down, but it was not good, because he went full bore on out angry, and he goes from 0 to power level 9 or anger level 9,000 in a drop of a hat. And we're just there going, no, shut your mouth, Boots, but he's all, rah. So Felix, we feel you, and just kind of get used to a little bit of that. It will get better as you learn to better cooperate with each other. 420 Witch retracted a message, so we're not sure what that was. Mark is thanking Oxymoron for validating her bit. It's nice to see others with similar experiences. You're not alone. Not alone. That's the last thing that we say, because it's true. Okay, Stargirl saying thank you. She's going to love it. The sheep, yes, absolutely. Naomi saying hi to Dragons. Hello, Naomi. If we didn't say hello to you already, we're kind of running behind on the chat log. We got 22 of you in there. Wow. Thanks, guys. Steph, hi. Welcome. Let's see. Mark saying one of the invalidating things I've gotten is that my DID expression is mild and extremely infrequent involuntary switches, being able to switch when agreed, which seems less than what we see online. Okay, Mark, we're going to comment on that. It can be invalidating, but keep in mind your DID expression is your DID expression. It's mild for you because it sounds like you're kind of similar to us, where you didn't know it was there for a long time and you just kind of grew up, and this is the way that you naturally are. So for you and for us, I mean, it's like you guys, there's a couple of videos when we're fronting. The one that you've seen the most is Percival, Rosemary, when she does her cooking stuff, and she's been pushing at us to get another one done, but that's a cascade of this needs to get done first, and blah, 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 blah. So don't judge yourself, and this goes for anybody. Don't judge your DID journey and your DID experiences off of anyone else's other than yourself, because there are so many different factors that go into this condition, because all of our brains are different. The trauma was different. The way that it gets encoded onto the brain is different. The severity of everyone's symptoms is a little bit different, which has been and has probably contributed to the medical community's inability and controversy on how to exactly pin this disorder down. And it's only now that we're seeing our technology is caught up, like with the MRI scans and the studies and the EEGs, between the different alters showing distinct neural states. They just identified the medial cortex as the place where the amygdala encodes these memories. It's only now that some of the hard science is starting to back, up what we've known all along. But Mark, don't be concerned if your expression or the way that your DID is radically different than anybody else's, or is just kind of mild. It doesn't mean your expressing as being mild does not mean that your trauma was mild. Okay, don't get expression and underlying cause confused. They do tie together, but everybody is going to express differently because we're all different. So don't get hung up on labels or comparative trauma or anything like that. We get this a lot with, oh my God, your trauma was so severe, I'm so sorry. And it's like, mine doesn't seem so important, so bad compared to yours. And we're like, stop right there. We don't believe in comparative trauma. Trauma is trauma is trauma. The way that it impacts the brain is the same. Okay, whether you only have one bad event, you're an NT and you have a bad car wreck and it gives you PTSD because you've got that emotional part that got locked away because your brain is going, I can't deal with this, to full-blown DID where it takes place over, period of time before you're 7 to 9 years old. Trauma is trauma is trauma. So don't set up an artificial goal line or anything for yourself on this person. I need to be like this person. Give yourself the credit to be yourself, to explore your journey in your way. Look for that info with everybody because we do share some commonalities, but don't get too hung up on that. Okay? Just our rambling advice to you. So, okay, let's see here. Okay, Spindle Sunset, hello, welcome. Happy to catch this live stream. We're happy to see you here. Okay, literally, yeah, here. Spindle is just saying what we just did. Do not compare yourself to online systems or any systems. Your experience is yours. Yes, they managed to say it in one sentence rather than our 3 minutes. So, yeah, good for you. Thank you, Spindle. Okay, Starry Girl was saying their host was in a denial pit last night, took our 16-year-old alter to tell her just that trauma doesn't lie. Your words have helped us so much. Thank you, Starry Girl. Yeah, and it's that brick wall. Every time that we start to feel the denial, we stop ourselves and we're going, do we have the trauma? Yeah, we have the trauma symptoms. Where did the trauma symptoms come from? The trauma. Trauma doesn't lie. Your brain will try to run you round and round and round to tell you that it didn't happen, but you cannot. That's a hard wall, which is why if there's one thing that our therapist taught us that really stuck, it was that. So that was why we decided to share it with you guys, and we are so glad that it's speaking to you guys as well. We get a little intense during that episode, but we're glad. Okay, Blue Rose is saying that the timestamp would be very helpful. Yeah, boy, we are behind in the chat log here. For the sheep, we will go ahead and do that. 420 Witch, sending a truckload of witchy hugs to anyone who wants or needs them. Yes, thank you. Everybody will always take some more hugs. Felix, Dragons, our littles would love to be on the sheep wall. Could you add Aaron and Little Llama? Absolutely. And any of you older alts as well. I mean, some of us will straddle that line between a little and an ANP. Mimi and Jack, for example. Mimi and Jack are both here on the wall. Jack doesn't want to be on the wall, but like it or not, even though he's growing up, he's got this little dichotomy going on. It's weird. We won't get into that. But anyway, it's not just exclusively for littles, predominantly. But if you feel a strong calling to have one on there, feel free. We're not going to close that off. So we're going to go ahead and add those two. Aaron with 2 A's. Why you shouldn't try to use a Sharpie to spell AARO. And Little Llama, that's cute. LITTLE LLAMA. Okay. And no, we'll have one for each. Although we are getting so many physical. We threw in that cute little sheep that kind of bounced across the screen as Percival was reading. So as we get more names on the wall, we'll deal with that when we come to it. But absolutely. The more sheep, the better. We have I think we're up to like 60 some odd now, which is both an immensely cool thing and it's also an immensely sad thing because for each one of those little names on the wall, we don't have to say anymore. So, but we're glad that it's helping. Be the Verse is saying that they've used a similar app to Starry Girl has started putting journaling more, and that does help us too, to be honest. Starry Girl saying if you have an iPhone, it's called the Self-Talking app. Self-Talking app. 420 was saying redacted message was a double. No problem. It's just we always kind of wonder what did they say and why did they retract it? But that's cool. Bugbean, any tips on how to stop rapid switching and dissociative seizures? Nothing's working to regulate me after horrible re-traumatization some weeks ago. And from some of the comments that you've left, for us, we're sorry. We can kind of read between the lines there. We're sorry, Book Bean. How to stop rapid switching and dissociative seizures. We're not sure, truthfully, other than to just tell you self-care. Do you have a grounding box yet? Here's a new one for those of you who may not be familiar with this. And this is something that we clued into. I think it was a Multiplicity in Me video. We didn't watch a lot of other DID channels. I think it was just pretty much Entropy System was our main go-to channel. They spoke to us, but we did watch some M&M in there. Anyway, wherever it was, they brought up the idea of a grounding box or bag or whatever. This is ours here. We keep it with us. And basically what this is this contains a variety of different things that may help to ground you to where you are right now, this time and space, because as you with DID know, we exist on several different times and spaces at the same time. So, grounding box. Ours contains an essential oil. This orange smell is associated with now. We have a variety of sharp objects. So if we start to have a flashback, we'll shove this stuff under our nose right away. This is one that our therapist taught us. Strong, sharp smells that are not associated with the trauma. Like for us, cigarette smoke and the smell of alcohol and body odor are surefire triggers for us. But the smell of citrus is not. So it's like, boom. It's like one time we were in a flashback and she shoved rosemary under our nose. And it was like, oh my God, that's terrible. And she's like, yeah, it is. And that's why I did it, because I'm shocking your olfactory system. I'm shocking your brain back to where you are now. So scents are a very powerful one. We keep a bunch of 3x5 index cards and a Sharpie in there when we're able to write in order to communicate, because going back to the alexithymia of before, where the brain cuts off to the speech center, you may not be able to talk, or if you do, you may be stuttering a lot. And it's very difficult because all the thoughts are right here, what you want to say is right here, but they don't go here. It's like somebody is slammed up in invisible. Oh, I can't talk, we're not getting through. You see what I'm saying? So those may be good. And for those of you who can't talk in extremis, this is something that we did. We took a number of these, actually used to be business cards, but we took and this is going to be reversed for you guys, sorry. But we have them with common phrases. A little is up front. Blank is fronting. And then we have the names of the alters, Mimi, Jack, blah, blah, blah. I need my meds. No one is up front. John, Jack. Too many up front. Basic concepts, things that you know that you need to communicate to your loved ones or to the entities around you, that these may help when you can't, when that alexithymia kicks in and your head is a bunch of DID soup. So that's another good thing to have in there. Your medications, at the very least, you should keep some ibuprofen on hand. OTC will work for those TITHs. We keep our propranolol and our anti-anxiety med and some ibuprofen in here in this nice little thing, which used to be a pre-roll case. Turns out works real well for this. Okay, the other things that we have, lots of tactile things. A sharp rock to grab hold of. We have a tendency to want to bite ourselves when we get there, because the pain acts as a centering thing. It's those of you who know, you'll know. So we literally have this giant brass disc which is stuck in there and is not going to come out. One thing that we use is this. We kind of came up with a little game for ourselves. On the top of our box, as you can see, there's a little indented area that we can use for. And so when we're trying to come back from a flashback or recenter our brains or get it to refire, what we have is there's 3 little brass weights, 1, 2, 3, and a dice. And what we'll do is we'll put these in one corner of each of the 3 corners of the box, roll the dice, and then move the weights to different corners the number of times that it says. What this is doing is it's forcing your brain to reconnect and to start kicking into high gear again. So it's going to be individual for whatever works for you, but those are the basics of a grounding box. So you may find that useful. We do, and we keep it right by our door in the same place, so all of our family members know that it's there. So if we're saying box, or whatnot, they know to grab this. And on that note, do make sure that you tell whoever it is around you about this, about what's in it, so that they're familiar with it and why, so they can grab it and help you when you're not able to help yourself. Okay. So hopefully, Bug Bean, that will help you there. As far as the rapid switching to dissociative seizures, it's a lot of work because we still get those as well. We wish we could give you more answers. Maybe somebody here in the chat does, or probably already has, since we're running behind here. So forgive us. Okay, yeah, Bug Bean, I know if one thing helps, cold water, yes, we completely forgot about that. Thank you, Sorry Girl. Ice packs against the back of the neck, cold showers that was something else that our therapist taught us, was particularly like when you're angry or whatnot, you'll feel this immense radiation of heat off the back of your head. Throw a cold pack on there or something. That's an excellent tip. Or we'll, rinse our head, soak our head under the cold tap water until we're nearly freezing. But it does help to recenter you, and it also doesn't do great for the headache, but better things. So yeah, definitely great tip, Starry Girl. Great tip. Alyssa Tiara, hello! Welcome, sorry for being late. Perception of time really sucks lately. Ours too, so hey, we lose whole days, don't worry about it. So, yeah, keep them in her emergency bag. Yeah, instant cool packs, excellent, but sadly doesn't help in this circumstance. That's too bad. Okay. Oxymoron says, heard that in some cases antipsychotics could help with rapid switching if you get really desperate. We don't have that experience as a medical experience to recommend. So we would say talk with your nurse practitioner if you have one, or even your doctor if you don't. Okay, so Blue Rose is also recommending the cold pack idea. Steph, Bug Bean, in such cases, I choose something really spicy, like ginger cubes or dried chilies. Excellent idea, Steph, and that actually ties right into what we were saying in our last episode about the comfortably numb. One of the tips that we give at the end is actually to eat spicy foods, because it stimulates a pain reflex, which tells your brain to kick in those endogenous opioids, the natural feel-good, dumb down the nerve drugs. So great tip right there. Excellent. Let's see here. Sorry Girl saying been on high alert since, gosh, this is really going to sound bad, since at least 9 years old. At least that's what we can recall. It's probably been going on for longer. Yeah, we've come to discover that we've always been on high alert. Always. We used to say that we were watchers. We'd watch everybody else. No, the reason we were watching everyone else is we were looking for danger signals to try to lessen that sense of terror that we constantly have in the middle of our chest. So yeah, most of us, we've been doing it way longer than we realize. And that's part of the journey of DID is coming to realize what you've been doing all this time and why. And particularly with negative behavioral patterns or negative trains of thought, you're finally able to, oh, okay, I'm reacting this way. Why am I reacting this way? How is this tied in? And 99% of the time, it's a trauma-based reaction. And then you can go, okay, I am having a trauma-based reaction. What is a better way to divert or deal with this? And believe me, this is a struggle. This is where we're at a lot right now, as we have is that we are learning how to identify our trauma reactions, and once we've got it, how we can do it. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes just that acknowledgement that you are having a trauma-based reaction can be enough. But here's an important thing, and we did this on Christmas. We started to pick a fight Christmas morning. Christmas is a huge trigger and trauma-versary for us. And in the morning, things where we thought we were going along great, but all of a sudden we found ourselves picking an argument with our wife, and we didn't even realize we were doing it until we go outside and we're, and then we're sitting there, and all of a sudden it slams right into us. This feeling feels familiar. Where does this feel familiar with? Oh, this is exactly the toxic environment we grew up in. Oh, great. I'm reproducing the toxic environment that we grew up in. And then it's like, oh, shit. So we came in and we went to our wife and hugged her and said, we're having a trauma-based reaction. We don't know why we're having it, but we're having one, and we're going to try to do better. And she's like, yeah, about halfway through, I kind of figured that out, but thank you. So even though everything in you is going, oh my God, don't go hug them right now, for whatever reason, go communicate. It's hard, we know. But yeah, you will learn over the course of time to be aware of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then hopefully can start to learn to rewire it. Okay, Spindle Sunset says, thank you for keeping yourself safe, but also sharing the ugly parts of DID. I find there is a morbid curiosity in people, and while nobody should have to oblige their trauma story, it's nice to have someone to throw people at. It makes DID seem real. So you throw us at people, huh? No, that's okay. It makes DID seem real to them, not just a fun time wonderland of friends having altars to bail them out of work. As if whoever was fronting, and now this does help to explain some of our shitty work history, uh, and why we went through so many jobs, and we realized that because that was a big source of guilt for us. It was because not everybody was up front the same day, and not everybody wanted to go to work. So yeah, we hear that. But yeah, ought to be ignorant. So Spindle, thank you. That is why we decided to start the channel, because we went and we saw, oh, okay, there's all of these systems and they're dealing with this and they're coming on the other, but nobody's talking about the trauma. Nobody's talking about the flashbacks. Nobody's talking about the littles or how to give them time or things. So we went, okay. And we're older, we're a guy, and no offense, but most of the systems that you see on YouTube are all younger ladies. Nothing wrong with that. It's just we felt that we could provide a unique perspective. And so it's like, okay, rather than just dwelling in our trauma and crap, we're going to start shouting this crap out to the world and see if maybe our experience is able to help you. And Data is an inveterate researcher, so we have been trying to fill in the gaps in knowledge that we ran up against. And believe me, he researches. If you guys on our serious episodes, we don't just spout this stuff. We always post the links to the references that he finds, and most of them are like doctoral thesis type stuff that makes no sense to us, but he researches it and outlines it for us. So yeah. So thank you. It's not that we're really trying to go into the deep end, it's just we're trying to deal with this crap that nobody else wants to talk about. It's like one of our biggest challenges recently was for part 2 of The Day with DID, A Night with DID. We are plagued with flashbacks all day long, but they get really bad at night. We had one yesterday that we had to put a pin in. Yeah, okay, that's all we're going to say about that. But we had one that we had yesterday that we would stick a pin in, but they get really bad at night. And because we were giving you a direct POV representation of what it's like to live with DID in the altars, we had to include the flashbacks in order to be authentic. So the question for us became, how do we show a flashback without A, traumatizing the people that we're showing it to, but B, keeping it real enough to where the impact of it comes across. And we took 2 of our most predominant flashbacks that are actually tied together indirectly, but they are tied together. And that was tough because we had to do all the voices, find period pieces of footage to keep it as exact as we could, and sanitize the nastier bits out of it so that we wouldn't traumatize you guys. But we have proven, I think, that we are able to show trauma and talk about trauma and deal with trauma in this community without A, re-traumatizing everybody, or B, just making everything cutesy. So we're glad that we're getting that across. So thank you. Thank you, Spindle. We appreciate that. And I think folks are, starting to kind of gravitate towards the channel because of that. But yeah, if you know somebody who might benefit from that perspective, send them on over. If not, don't worry about it. People will find us when they find us, though. We're not in it for the fame or anything. Just to say, hey, help, you're not alone. So, yeah, but we get you. Okay, I think I just missed one. Okay, Starry Girl saying their 16-year-old is their physical protector, ready to fight at a moment's notice, so mood. Yeah, bootstraps, boom. What did you just say to me? Yeah. Yeah, our neighbor made a threat against our cat, and that conversation went south real quick. Okay, so yeah. Blue Rose says, would love another Cooking with Rosemary episode. We made her carrot chowder and it was delicious. Yeah, that stuff's good. That was actually our grandfather's recipe, believe it or not. He was great at barbecue and could make soups to die for. Other than that, our grandmother did it. But yeah, yeah, check that out. The carrot chowder is really good. Okay, M, welcome. Don't really know a lot of my headmates. I know about 4, and I know they exist, and I know there's more, but they're keeping shit from me for reasons. Yes, and you need to trust them on that. Trust your brain and trust your alters to a certain extent. If they're not ready to share something, don't push it. And this is going to be one of the things that, particularly you guys who have been newly diagnosed, it is a natural reaction to want to fill in all of those blank spots and to know every single last detail about what was done to you and your traumas. And take it from us, don't poke the hornet's nest. That is going to come out all on its own. Trust your amygdala. If you don't trust it, just know that it's going to do that. It is going to spit this crap out at you, so you don't need to go digging for it. Trust us. Data did. We didn't listen to our therapist, and yeah, don't dig. It will come out on its own. Trust your alters. Trust your brain at this point to know what is best. Because after all this time, it's finally decided, okay, we're at a point where we can deal with this now. Let's let this little part of it out. So yeah, we feel you, M. We've been there. Just be patient with yourselves. I know that can be tough. We know that can be tough. And Mark, we were talking to you there because we get the feeling that you're wanting to know everything too. Inquiring minds want to know. Trust me, you don't. Okay, let's see here. Dragon saying watch that video and wanted to make it so bad. Glad to hear it was delicious. Yeah, it's not that hard of a recipe, really. Spindle Sunset, yes, all pain is pain, period. Yeah, here, boy, we are way behind on the chat. There are different levels and experiences that are important to acknowledge, but nobody is ever a winner in the face of pain. In the race of pain, we're all limping and groaning together. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way of putting it, Spindle. Great way of putting it. 420 Witch, not a little, but I do age regress. Could you put Danny on there if you already didn't have Danny? Add Titch. We'll make sure of that. 420. Let's see. DANI and TITCH. TITCH. Got it. Yeah, I know it's in the chat log and we could just do it there, but we sometimes forget to review the chat log, so we make physical notes. That's what works for us. Okay, let's see. Grace is saying DID feels like a temporary diagnosis because we really believe one can be a healthy multiple, no longer in disorder. This ebbs and flows, but my DO has really worked on internal communication and cooperation. Yeah, and that's cool. We see where you're going with that, and yeah, if that works for you to consider things that way, go for it. Go for it. Everybody's journey is different. Okay, 420 saying, yeah, it was M&M and they have a grounding box. Okay, yeah. Oh, dang it, there's another. But troll, hang on just a second while I remove Miss Luisa Blonda. Sorry, Luisa. Bye-bye. Okay, Spindle's saying, absolutely do not compare, but multiplicity me is a good example. Think they're a licensed mental health counselor, parent, and multiple recovery is a journey. You can always keep growing. Yeah, exactly. M&M integrated. Yeah, that's true. We haven't been up on the channel, so you guys probably know better than that. Oh, and there's another one. Bye-bye, Mr. Bup. I can't even pronounce that. It's in Cyrillic. Remove message. I tell you guys, we will just simply block and remove you. You're not going to get anywhere. And again, for those of you who come in, don't click on any of those links. They're pretty damn obvious. Yeah, spam messages, got bots in the chat. Yeah, sorry, it took us a while to catch up there, the backlog. So don't worry, guys, we're on it. Thank you for letting us know, though. Okay, lots of thanks. Okay, be the verse. We didn't realize we were always on high alert because we've always been. To us, that was normal. Yes, exactly. So actually learning that safety feels different and to shift our nervous system state to have a different default to be able to play, connect, and feel safe more of the time is a constant daily thing we're learning now, and it's surprising to learn and nice. If shocking and difficult, definitely better. Yeah, we know exactly what you mean, and that's a great way of putting it. It's weird. Because we've been used to the trauma-based reactions, and then all of a sudden when non-trauma stuff comes along, we don't know how to deal with it because we don't trust it. So yeah, definitely. Hey, Twin Stars, good to see you in here. Let's see here. Realizing when your emotions are not actually related to what's going on in the present, but instead are the results of the past is so hard, but it makes life 300% easier. Yeah, it's a battle. It's a battle, but you will feel better as it goes on, and then you'll feel worse, and then you'll feel better. But fortunately, a lot of the betters begin to outweigh the worse, at least in our. But it's a constant battle, guys. Don't make any illusions about that. No, it's not pretty, and it's not fun. There can be good aspects to it, yes, absolutely. But the whole picture of DID is this. It sucks. This is the worst club in the world. Okay, we don't want to be like this. You don't want to be trapped in hell you can't escape from. So we've got to learn to make the best of it, which sucks. It's not fair, but there it is. It's basically the same thing as saying, okay, I got to get up to go to work in the morning, feed the cats, pay the bills. You know, maybe feed yourself if you're like, but you still got to get up and do it no matter what. It's just some things you got to do. The idea is that way. You got to keep putting one foot in front of the other if you want to win against your abusers that made you this way. So yeah. Be the verse saying Twin Stars, such a mood, totally agree with every word. Yeah, absolutely. Grace Cerveza is saying trauma-based reactions are hard. We can trigger each other's trauma-based reactions, so arguments can spiral awfully. Very hard for one of us to realize we're not here now because this argument doesn't make sense. Yeah, mood, hard mood. And it can be tough. It can be tough. Because we want to withdraw. We want to hold back. We don't want to reach out. Reaching out is hard and scary AF. Sucking that down and going, okay, let's go talk. Really talk. And another thing that goes along with this is the urge to make things right. To just smooth things over and make it right, make it go back to status quo. That is an ingrained thing because when you're traumatized, you're always looking to minimize it. And that's our default position that a lot of us have been put in, is to pacify our abusers. And so that becomes second nature, and it bugs the hell out of us when things are not status quo. Why don't you guys just... Sorry, Amazon. Our house is like set back, and they always park at the end of the thing and like run up the driveway. It's like, dude, you got plenty of room. Just come in and drop it off. Every step counts when you're delivering all day. So yeah. Let's see here. Where were we? Yeah, the argument making sense. Be the verse saying, realizing that I'm projecting past environment vibes and people's intent onto people and environments in the present blew our minds and started making life so much better after the shock of it. Yeah, absolutely. That's a snap flap to the head realization. We've had that one many times, and it's something that we have to fight against. Like I said, it's identifying that you're having a trauma-based reaction, going why, and then changing it. It's hard. It's work. It really is. Encrypted Angels, welcome. Don't think we've seen you around before. We look a lot younger than we are, but we're in our late 40s and out there on social media. I do agree there's a lot of topics not covered, and kudos to you for covering trauma. That rocks. Thank you. We're glad that it's speaking to you without re-traumatizing you. We know that our stuff is heavy, and we do try to trigger warning it. And when we do, take it seriously because we don't put them up lightly. This is an adult channel, and we expect you guys to practice viewer responsibility. Okay? That may sound a little weird, but if it's bugging you, turn it off. So, yeah. Let's see here. Okay. Spindle was saying part 2 was so well done. We're talking about trauma doesn't lie. Okay, I'm sorry. I skipped over. Sorry, we're going back. Twin Star saying, we're in the opposite boat to a lot of systems in that I think I want to know nothing. We're not in a place that's safe enough to process it, and yet it's slowly coming out anyway. Yeah, Twin Stars, what's going on is your amygdala is going, I'm going to unlock this now because your life circumstances have stabilized enough to where I think you can start to deal with it. And you're going to deal with it whether you like it or not. It's going to keep unlocking those doors. So the best thing to do is just to hang on and try not to fight it too much. And I know that's running completely contrary to every instinct that's running through you right now. So it's important to give yourself slack and give yourself time and self-care, but at the same time, don't run from it, because it's going to come out when it's going to come out. And if you fight it, it's going to be much worse than if you just kind of let it roll over you. Be a duck, just let it kind of roll off your back and deal with what you can at that point in time. I mean, hell, we're still dealing with Christopher's original flashbacks that we detail. Well, actually, we don't detail in detail the very first of his serious things, but we do detail in as long as we remember you, Christopher's story, when we're telling you guys about Jenny and Jane and what happened to us. We still process that. We still process that. So yeah, don't give yourself credit. Go easy on yourself, and just it's going to come out. Sorry. Hard truth. We know that's not what you want to hear, but yeah. So yeah, keep going, Twin Stars. We're with you. You're not alone. Okay, Long Soul System. Welcome. Glad to see you guys. We really like your videos. Thank you very much. Well, we're glad that it's speaking to you. Welcome to the chat logs. Let's see. Okay, so Spindle now. Yeah, sorry, we jumped over you there, Long Soul. Sorry about that. Back to Spindle. Part 2 was so well done. I actually had a question. When flashbacks happen, what does the body do? Does it stand still, or does someone else front to keep doing stuff? Does everyone get the flashback? We'll deal with them one at a time. That's a great series of questions. When flashback happens, what does the body do? Generally, we grab hold of the nearest solid object, whether that's the counter or the wall. We tend to get a lot of them creep in when we're cooking for some reason, or just cleaning or doing the dishes. So we'll just kind of grab, well, this is basically the reaction. It's like, because we're there doing something 1 minute, and depending upon the severity of the flashbacks, and most of ours are pretty severe, like the one yesterday, we literally, it's like time doubles. There's this, all of a sudden we're the us that is there in the kitchen. Receipts. Mark, stop it, dude, stop it. Thank you, but man, you're humbling us. So depending upon the severity, the part of us that is still here in this here and now is standing there, but it is overlaid because all of a sudden we are there. For example, the one yesterday, we're going to try to give this as a thing without putting ourselves back into it because it's still fresh. We are 8 or 9 years old, and we are standing washing something in front of the sink, and we are in the trailer that we grew up in, and we're looking down, and we are physically, okay, this is not just going on, we are physically seeing, physically feeling, physically seeing our hands as they were when they were young, a lot slender and much less hairy. But we are there. We are there again. That's what a flashback is, at least for us. It is a reliving of that frozen point in time. And as we're standing there, we are feeling hot breath on the back of our neck and hands snaking around us, and we're just going to stop right there. But at the same time, we are also, obviously, the physical body is here in the kitchen, but for that point in time, and however long that flashback lasts, whether it's just that split second or whether it's the whole thing and we're in the long run for 2 hours or 2 days, that's how it works. And we will, and coming back is kind of like being caught in an ocean wave, because the wave of the flashback will come in and then it will recede, and it will come in and it will recede. And then sometimes it'll just bam, straight back at you. And it's tough. And one of the hardest thought skills that we've had to learn is to stick a pin in that, realize, oh crap, we're having a flashback. Not now, not now, not now. So there's that. Hello, Roses. See, you finally met it, and we're still catching up. It's okay, we know you're busy. And we know that you know that. Okay, dang it, where were we? Okay, yes. So what does the body do? That's what it does. Does it stand still? Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody else front to keep doing stuff? No. When we're in the flashback, we're in it. We are immobilized. We cannot move. We are frozen in place, frozen in time, experiencing at least two, sometimes three or four different realities, slices in the space time continuum as we experience them there. We're back there. We are that 7-year-old kid again with all those reactions and all those thoughts. Uh, and then we'll be back here, and then we'll be there again, and it's just like flipping off a light switch. But there is still way the hell back. There's the us that is us now is going, oh, we're having a flashback and trying to pull back from it. But 99.9% of the time, we just have to ride it out until we're here. And it can be tough. Those are the times when sometimes we'll be in it and we'll be shaking and we cannot talk, and we'll be going box, as which is our family member knows, go grab our grounding box because we're in it. So yeah, let's see here. So, no, sorry. I think those are all the ones. Somebody said, keep doing stuff. Does everyone get the flashback? That one's harder to answer. I would say only those who are upfront or the A&Ps who are normally co-conning. When we're in that flashback as that little, it's not, Christopher is not observing Christopher D having a flashback. There is no coexistence of those. It is us in that particular point in time, whether it's Christopher D or Mimi or Christopher himself or Susie. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully those were great questions. Hopefully you got the answers that you were looking for there. So yeah, let us catch up here. We're having some great questions. Great questions. Thank you, guys. Let's. Oh, okay. I see. That was. I'm not sure what's going on with that, Mark. Anyway, keep going. Does it bring it flashback? Okay, sorry girl saying not to mention when you do find out what happened, it can suck trying to stabilize after. Self-care is everything in those moments. Yes, absolutely. After we would have therapy and go through a flashback, our therapist would give us orders. You are going to bed and self-caring today. You know, you go to bed, you sleep, your body will regulate, but you are to do nothing else. Nothing else. We were lucky because we could, all of our therapy was done. She was willing to come here to our house, which is a rarity, but we were so incredibly anxious, we literally could not step foot outside the door. This is something that shows that we have improved, is now we are actually able to, about 75% of the time, deal with ourselves and go to Walmart and be okay. But there are still plenty of times when we go to our daughter and say, hey, come with us, please, to help keep us grounded. So yeah, it's fine. So yeah, stabilizing is very important. Don't push. If you feel that TITH, and I guarantee you, if you've just had a flashback, you do, go lay down. Go lay down. Okay, so let's see here. Same, not a safe enough situation that's coming out anyway. Yeah, unfortunately. Okay, sorry girls giving some great advice. Sometimes you feel stuck, sometimes you act time, and other times someone else fronts to keep up the act. It's not fun. Yeah, and your reactions are going to kind of vary from system to system, so don't take everything as a hard and fast rule. Okay, let's see here. M's going, I don't really want to know. I'm scared and it makes me sick. Yeah, that's your amygdala. That's your reaction still there. Give yourself time, M. Take it easy on yourself, okay? It's all gonna come out all on its own. Sorry girl saying that they're so used to being in danger in some way that safety feels uncomfortable and foreign. Yeah, it's a fight to feel good some days. Yeah, we don't know what it feels like to be happy. And that sounds sad and pathetic, but it's the absolute truth. There is always a part of us that is on guard. Unless we've got like 2 margaritas in us, but we don't do that because we don't like to drink, because alcohol is a trigger, and we've had to learn how to separate that. But yeah, we don't ever really relax, and we're just now learning how to feel happy and learning what real love is, which has proven to be difficult. Anyway. Okay, Spindle Sunset. Also, kind of love how your system bullied over your dad jokes and puns. Sorry, Chris. And honestly, it felt like Bootstraps and Rosemary were nagging you, and then Mimi kicks up the stereo. Yeah, that's how it is. Oh, God. Rosemary nags all the time. Oh, we've got. I can't do her, okay, but she's like, we'll be doing the tea. Oh, this counter's filthy. We need to do this. Or we need to put the dishes away. We're grabbing a spoon, and then all of a sudden it's okay. Well, we need to do this when we need to do this, and we need to do this. And it's just like, we want to do one thing. One thing. If we let you out, this is when we end up on our hands and knees for 4.5 hours with bloody hands because you won't stop. But yeah, Bootstraps and Rosemary nag, and we feel it because there's always something that they need to do or needs to be done. But it's just, shut up, please. So yeah, but yeah, and I know we tell bad dad jokes, but we're a dad, and that's expected, and we simply fulfill the expectations of those around us, which is in and of itself a trauma-based reaction. Let's keep everybody happy, right? So, yeah, our dad jokes are terrible. Plus, we also use humor as a defense. We always have. A lot of trauma victims will make light to change the mood because we're terribly uncomfortable and we really don't want to talk about this, so we'll make some stupid crack. Generally something self-effacing. Slightly cut yourself down to make everybody else feel at ease. That's a trauma reaction, boys and girls. So, yeah, Blue Rose is saying self-care is so important, but sometimes it feels like I don't deserve care of any kind. That's your guilt, blame, shame spiral. Talking to you right there. You deserve care. You deserve self-care. You deserve everything that you're entitled to. And take it. It's okay. Seriously. So yeah, Star Girl saying, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. When you find out, it will be terrifying. It's what you do during and after that makes all the difference. Yes, Starry Girl. Boom. Yeah. Fist bump. Fist bump, not trying to punch you. Okay, so let's see here. Miss Day, hello, welcome. I haven't seen you the first time in one of your streams. We adore your channel and our kiddos love your story times. If someone doesn't mind catching us up on where we are in the stream, it'd be appreciated. Thank you, Alex. Hi, welcome, Alex. This is the way the streams run. Really, it's kind of more just a forum. Everybody asks questions, and we all kind of give our experience and little tidbits. If you have a tip or a trick, feel free to jot it down. This is not just about us blathering on to you guys, although we will blather because we're constantly behind the chat logs and we'll give you our experiences. But feel free to ask questions. Feel free to talk about heavy stuff. Give a trigger warning if it's going to be really heavy, but as our live stream folks can attest, we are not afraid to deal with the heavy duty stuff. So if you got something on your chest you want to get off, talk about with others, feel free to do so. Just kind of give us a heads up first. And for those of you, if it gets intense and you need to step away, do so. You're not required to sit here and watch the stream. We thank you for doing so. But if you got other stuff to do or you're not comfortable, or if this just isn't your thing, head off. We're not going to be insulted in any way, shape, or form. So welcome, Miss Day. Good to see you. Good, or Alex. I'm sorry. We tend to address people according to their YouTube name, but because you did put your name, we're going to try to remember Alex. So Alex, glad to see you. Where we're in the stream, we're just kind of all over the place, talking a lot about what happens when flashbacks come out and self-care and the intense headaches that you get. They're called TITH, Transitional Interpersonality Thunderclap Headaches. Caused by the changes in the blood pressure in your brain when you're switching. So that's kind of where we're at. Of course, by this time, others have probably caught you up. Okay, so this be the verse. We're very ingrained to prevent and placate and pacify. Learning to feel uncomfortable and to let other people feel uncomfortable and tell ourselves that we can feel uncomfortable and scared and safe all at the same time is a massive learning curve that massively helps us and is so hard. Yes. And we're not going to candy coat it either. It's hard. Most of your work coming to terms with your condition is going to be hard. And it sucks. It sucks balls. Because, and we're going to let off a little bit of steam here because it's not fair. We were abused. They abused us the first time. And now we're left with all of this effect, and we have to clean up their messes inside of ourselves. And now all of a sudden we have to do all of this crap, and we have to jump through hoops, and we have to reinvent ourselves and unlearn everything that we've ever had to learn and constantly be on guard for how we're acting, whether we're having a trauma reaction. It's not fair. We should have a right, to, I don't want to say wallow in our trauma, but have a right to it. Okay, you see what we're saying? And it's frustrating, and it sucks, and no, it's not fair, and it's okay to be angry. If you feel angry about it, hell, you deserve to feel angry about it. You deserve to experience that emotion. Now, this is where the line comes in. You don't have the right to inflict that emotion on anyone else, because that's overstepping. This is where we get into system responsibility, is walking that fine line between it's okay for me to experience this and feel these negative things and be angry about it and want to lash out, but it is not okay to lash out at other people and take those feelings out on other people, because that makes you no better than your abusers. And you don't want to replicate that pattern of abuse, because that is exactly what they want you to do. Because it shows that they still have control over you. They may be dead. It may have been years ago. But that pattern that they so carefully, over a long period of time, put into place to keep you down, to keep you repressed, is still going to come up to bite you in the ass. And it's called trauma bonding. And it sucks. And it's not fair that we have to deal with cleaning up their mess and the shit that they did to us. Is it fair? Mm-mm. But you got to learn to take that step back and go, okay, I have a right to feel this way. I am entitled to feel this way by God. But let's not become the very thing that we hate. Hopefully you guys can understand that, because that was a hard realization for us. Hard smack in the face realization for us, particularly when we finally discovered that we were continuing a lot of the emotional abuse patterns that we were put through. After our lives blew apart, it was over a year ago, but our wife sat us down, and it was one of those heart-to-hearts where you sit there and it's hard truths are spoken. And learning to face up to those hard truths it's rough, because you want to shrink. That's not me. And she was like, you can be emotionally abusive sometimes. And that was very hard for us to hear, because we were extensively abused emotionally, sexually, physically. Let me qualify that. Physical abuse and sexual abuse are the same thing. They didn't beat us about the face, but it's an assault. And we had to own up to that. Because we realized, a lot of the ways that we react sometimes are emotionally abusive. As a defense, but it's still abuse. We were replicating that pattern. And the only way to stop it is to become aware of it and accept your responsibility for it. Whether you're a singlet or a system, it's up to you. Ultimately. It sucks. It's not fair. But don't let them win. Don't let them win. They've already done enough to you. Be better. That's what keeps us going. That and trauma doesn't lie. Okay, so, we feel the abusiverse. Okay, M says they've just accepted that I'm probably never going to be able to feel fully safe, but I can do everything I can. Yeah, that's called self-care. And yeah, it will, you're going to fight that. Not going to lie. Hard truth time, not going to lie. I'm not sure that we ever feel completely safe. Oxymorons off to bed. Getting late. Wish you all a good day. Thank you, Oxy. It's always good to see you. Go get some rest, self-care, drink water, stay warm. Goodness. So yeah, Spindle is saying to Stargirl, thank you for sharing. I know my flashbacks aren't visual, so I was wondering. Yeah, and they may be for everybody. It's going to be a little bit different. Ours are really intense, but then our trauma is really intense. But again, like we were saying to Mark earlier, don't set yourself up against somebody else's trauma or somebody else's journey, because in DID, really, there's not a whole hell of a lot of hard and fast that fits everybody. There are commonalities, but your journey is going to be different. So give yourself slack on that, yeah. Okay, saying goodnight to Oxymoron. Night night, stay, amen, turn it off. Spindle flashbacks come in a variety of forms. Oxymoron. Hello, roses. There you are. Note as a duck keeper. Let it all roll off like water on a back is only applicable to healthy adult ducks in a good husbandry situation. They keep ducks, so they know. Duck experts right there. Young ducks, sick ducks, and ducks in bad housing can't keep themselves waxed, and therefore water doesn't roll off. The metaphor still works. Yep, absolutely. Ellie's saying, yay, still going. Hey, Ellie, good to see you. Yeah, we're still going. We generally can't stay, but thank you very much for all you do for the community. Thank you, Mark. You're probably not around at this point, but thank you. Greatly appreciate it, and thank you. Sincerely. Not required, not necessary, but thank you. Okay. Very good timing, actually. Okay, so Jocelyn Warnell saying hi. Steph is saying flashbacks can come in any type, such as visual, sensoric, acoustic, through the body, or simply as thoughts. All of them can be intensive and frightening. Yeah, we get the full gamut, but yeah, Steph is absolutely right there. It can be any of it, or none of it, or all of it. It all depends. So yeah. Okay, let's see. Spindle saying, no, don't re-traumatize yourself to explain infinity. I'm sorry. No. It's okay. Guys, okay, we are not going to say something or do something that will send us over the edge. Okay, we are too tightly controlled, if that makes any sense for that. We know our limits, and we will stop it. Like we did when we got that touching from behind thing. It's like, yeah. We know we've finally learned not to poke, and when we go, okay, we're not capable of dealing with this. Hang on just a second. I need to lower the blind because I'm getting hellacious glare off of the car here. So we'll be right back. Okay, that's much better. Now I can see you. And you can see me, and yes, Percival, I know that there is still another cup of tea in the teapot. Our teapot, or rather, Percival's teapot. Forgive the clips here. We didn't have a tea cozy, so we got creative and took two cheapy dollar store Christmas things and stitched them together to make a little tea cozy. So here's our Percival's little teapot with the tea and everything and whatnot. But it makes this little tiny thing makes it just enough for 2 cups, which really irritates him when we forget that there's a second cup in there and leave it, and it sits overnight, and then he's like, "You wasted a cup of tea." It's like a mortal sin or something. You know, it's like, dude, it's a cup of tea. No, it's not. Tea is more than that. So anyway, can't do them, sorry. Which is weird because you'd figure it's the same vocal cords and whatnot, but it just doesn't work that way. When we try, we sound stupid. Okay, so more tea, yes. So yeah, don't worry about Spindle. And emotional, please don't forget emotional flashbacks. Yeah, and those are actually some of the more common. Yep. Okay, Mistake says, Alex. Okay, Alex. Yeah, that's right, because they put it. Sorry. Okay, absolutely get the emotional and physical flashbacks and sort of shut down. Time overlap makes so much sense. Yes. Again, I know everyone experiences them differently. Thanks for your personal experience. That's the only one we can give. You're welcome. M says it's like having a nightmare with your eyes open. I've done a lot of sleeping with your eyes open. Yeah, M, I would be willing to bet that you probably suffer from sleep paralysis. You ever wake up and you're stuck and you're frozen and you can't move and you're absolutely terrified? That's sleep paralysis. We get that a lot. So yeah, we feel you there. Everybody's saying welcome to the club. Kate saying huge sigh, always been on guard, and this week has been a week of reliving the past. Monday we have court. Some of us are losing it bad. Lena, it's okay, Lena. Hang in there. It will be over. You'll get through it. Okay. Well, yeah. We're sorry. We're there with you. Send you some support. Good thoughts for sure. So Lana or Lena, Lana, we're going to assume, hang in there, hang in there. But think about it. You're in there because you're moving forwards. So give yourself some credit. Everybody give yourselves credit. We're terribly down on ourselves because of the abuse. And I hate to sound like Stuart Smalley, but there's a callback for those of you who are older. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. Giving support to Lena. Let's see, Spindle says it was kind of nice to see Mimi bare teeth at Jack and tell him to start trying to start shit. I know Jack has a place like everyone else, but Mimi hop out like this town ain't big enough for the two of us. Yeah, Mimi's a big protector. Mimi and Jack don't get along. Mimi understands Jack because they split at exactly the same time. So they're kind of like siblings, if you were. They happened from the same split. There was a three-way. Jack, John, and Mimi all came into existence all at the same time. Or rather, to be more precise, John and Jack came into existence at the same time, and Mimi came in when John went away for reasons which we won't go into. So they're kind of siblings, but Mimi doesn't like Jack because Jack, that's what Jack does, is he is the trauma. He's the bad boy. He's our libido. He's our sex drive. He's our, hey, come here, mama. I know how to make you feel good in ways you've never even thought of. And he takes pride in it, and it's his thing. Internally, and I can feel him raging just at the thought of this. He's just as wounded as the rest of us, even though okay, I'm going to have to stop talking about that because he's starting to push because he doesn't like it when we talk about him. Or the fact that he's just as traumatized as the rest of us but doesn't want to admit it. Anyway, that's Jack, and that's why we left him in there, because he's valid, and that's what he does. He pushes the trauma, and there's a lot of the times, okay, getting a little heavy here, guys, trigger warning, he does try to recreate it. Certain aspects of it. That crack that he makes about sometimes it was satin, sometimes it was silk. I think I preferred the satin. Yeah. Can let your mind play at that. And sometimes it gets self-harming. Gets real self-harming. And he's made us bleed. Not going to say how or why or where, but... So we've had to work with him a lot. A lot. So yeah, but he is valid. Just as valid, but yeah, Mimi... Yeah, Mimi doesn't like Jack a lot. So yeah, but it is amusing, the interplay sometimes. Okay, P is saying, humor as defense mechanism hit hard and sarcasm. I'm not proud of that one. Don't worry about it, P. It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's just what it is. It was a coping mechanism. It was one of the things that we learned to do to minimize the abuse. It's a natural thing. So cut yourself some slack. It's okay, guys, to embrace those negative emotions, to embrace the anger and the fury and the rage and the sense of unfairness. You have a right to your anger. You have a right to your hatred of your abusers. As we said before, system responsibility and being better than they are means that you acknowledge that. It's okay to feel it, but don't take it out on others. That's where you cross the line. And we know because we've been guilty of it. But yeah, let's see. Be the first saying, Lena, that sounds really intense and distressing. Sending tons of support and wishes for strength and comfort for court on Monday. Yeah, same. Okay, Alex, I want to say, is how is it with kids? We know that DID, doesn't have to be something to be ashamed of, but we also hear some systems saying how they masked it in front of the kids. How did you guys handle it? Do you wish you'd done anything differently? How did your kids react to switches if not masked? We can't wait to have kids, but this is something we're so unsure about. Thanks for the welcome. Anytime. Um, how is it with our kids? Okay, we weren't diagnosed until about 3 years ago, a little more. Don't quote us on the exact thing. It was latter part of 2019. We didn't know we were a system. We didn't know that we were all these different beings. We thought that we were just one very complicated and confused and confusing person. Um, and it's only now recently that we've been trying to suss out exactly who was it that was raising our kids. And as it turns out, it was mostly the ANPs. It was Dada and I, and more than a good helping of Bootstraps, and Percival as well. So it and Rosemary. So basically, all of the ANPs in one way or another were involved in it. Um, but not really switched as in separately or so, because we it's going to sound a little weird, but we didn't actually learn to deliberately switch as in front and co-front. But it did happen, because I know there would be days when I'd lose days. Honey, what do you want for dinner? I know it's Friday, but it's like I don't really feel like cooking tonight. Honey, it's not Friday, it's Wednesday. No, it's Friday. No, honey, it's Wednesday, but it's Friday. It's things like that. It's like, so those are basically the ones, and we're still kind of untangling that. And unfortunately, some of them probably did harm. Some of them did good. Overall, we'd like to think that we know that we were a better parent than ours, even our missteps included, and that's been one of the driving forces. Even before we were diagnosed with DID, we knew that we had been abused emotionally, because it was there all the time, from both parents. Different forms of emotional abuse, but yeah. Uh, so we've been kind of untangling who was what was where and did what when where. And yeah, it gets complicated, so we'll just leave it there. So let's see here. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Okay, looks like we had another one. Thank you, Roses. Oh, I see it keeps down. Okay, yeah. How now, since we've been diagnosed, obviously the kids have seen us switch. And for example, when Percival has been fronting and Rosemary has come out a couple times, pretty much most of the time it's just Data and I. But Boots will come out. We've actually learned to start kind of color coding. Black or gray is Data and I. Purple is Mimi. Rosemary has her outfit, doesn't really have a color. And when we're wearing a red shirt or something, that's Boots. And we've learned that. As it turns out, we were kind of color coding ourselves the whole time, but now we're kind of doing it deliberately. So that does help to separate us out a bit. And we don't own any poofy kind of pink pretty skirts with strawberries on it for Susie, who scares the living hell out of us, frankly. How a kid could hold that much trauma and still be la 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 is kind of beyond us. But anyway, that kind of gives you an example. Our kids have dealt with it fairly well. It did cause some division and strife in the family. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of communication that our therapist was pushing for in that stage of our healing. And then there was us sharing way too much information with our kids, which was just as bad as not sharing enough. And unfortunately, that was part of the we are alone, we're terrified, we're wounded, we are reaching out for help. There it goes again. We want you guys to understand what we're going through, why we're acting this way. But unfortunately, we passed on information that was not even though all of our kids are teenagers, it was not appropriate for us to go into some of that. and some of that detail. And we screwed up on that one. And we've been a lot better about it. But at the same time, it was one of these where we were just basically desperately crying out to our family, please love us, please understand us, please hear us, and say it's okay and that you understand. But at the same time, they weren't ready for that, but we didn't. And still, a lot of times, don't know how to articulate our needs clearly. Yet another thing in progress. So it's been a mixed bag. Mostly, they've been pretty cool about it, but it did cause some interfamily issues. So particularly with some of the more aggressive alts, bootstraps, for example. Yeah. So anyway, do we wish that we'd done anything differently? Yeah, but we'd have to go into specifics. And a lot of it's just yeah. There are things. Were missteps. Giving Lana positive vibes to conquer Corton this year. Excellent. Thank you, Smindle. Felix is saying to Alex that we're system, so is her mom. Oh, wow, okay. Could always tell when she switched, and I think she was trying to hide, so don't worry about that part, yeah. Blue Rose is saying, question, how does everyone cope with difficult and scary appointments like going to the doctor dentist? By hiding, by delaying, by practicing self-neglect, which means that we don't make those dental appointments when we should. We don't make those medical appointments when we should, or if we do, we don't follow in from them because it's there's some medically related trauma going on in our case, and we would much rather avoid it. But it's pretty much, if you're asking who are the ones that make us do shit, Data, Bootstraps, Rosemary. And basically it's just, okay, I'm going to front. You know, if you guys aren't capable of doing it, I can front, we can deal with it. But we've noticed that we will also switch out during these appointments. It's like, okay, are we going to play patient with the doctor today, or are we going to be, you know, here we are, we're coming back to that humor, that self-effacing humor in order to control the environment as a nervous and a trauma reaction. That's our fallback a lot. You can watch us on our videos and on our live streams. We do it a lot. That's our default. Everything's okay as long as everyone's laughing, right? So, yeah, that's how we try to give ourselves as much. Going to the dentist is a full-on freak out. We have to be sedated. Seriously, we have to be sedated to go to the dentist and have any type of work done, because we will go full on hardcore freak out. Yeah. Being in that type of chair and being in that type of situation was very similar to some of the things that happened to us. And yeah. Anyway, moving right along. So Blue Rose, I know that really doesn't kind of answer your question. Hopefully it does. So much of this is just kind of wibbly wobbly. Alana's saying, basically, been doing great for years, and last year our adopted child did something that caused a year of hell, sent us into a total system meltdown, and we're still working on, sympathies, and we feel you. Because we're experiencing this thing. Star Girl saying, it's never fair. This hell is not fair in any sense of the word. We don't really talk about this stuff unless we're in therapy. So yeah, it's hell on earth. We're trapped. We can't get out of it. And it sucks. And unfortunately, I think it's like the NTs around us. They think, oh, he's having a great day, and it just kind of goes away. It's like dad's normal again. And then the fact that there's all the shit that's going on in the back and other people just kind of goes, okay, yes, Colby, we will let you in. Hang on. All right. We're coming, yes. Come on. Yes. Fine. You can come in with us. Come here. What? Don't you want to be shown? Don't you want your cat love? No, I'm going to wait until it's most inconvenient for you. Well, come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, come here, cat mom. Oof. Meet Colby T. Colberton III. He's the best cat ever. Just ask him. No, really, he's He's been our best friend and our confidant and support, animal support for a very long period of time. He's going on 20 years old now, aren't you? Aren't you? Yes, you are. Don't show the audience your butt. Yeah, come on, guys. Come on. No. Turn your butt around, please. Yeah, there you go. Hop up there. Yeah, lay down. Lay down. Be a good Colby. Okay, so sorry. We kind of got caught there. Ow! Claws, dude. Okay, let's see here. So yeah, we're on the dentist, same things. Meltdowns, the hell of living with us. Still feel like mom, talking back in grounding items. Sorry, we're skipping over some of the back and forth. Twin stars, that was a powerful monologue. Oh, did we do it again? We tend to get going like that. But thank you. If it gets the point across, then yay. Don't eat our notes. Okay. Let's see. Finding a good caring doc helps a ton. Yes, that's absolutely correct there. Sandazi, hey, welcome. Wanted to drop something beautiful. We lost a very good friend 2 days ago, and we're so proud of how our system cares for the altars that were close to her. So lovely. Good for you. That's an excellent thing to hear. All right. Salute. Take those victories. And yeah, guys, this feels like an endless slog through crap, and it is. But it's important to take those good moments, those good bits, and when you've done something right, no matter how small it is, give yourself that congratulations. Give yourself credit for the stuff that you do. Give yourself credit for not lashing out at that person that just stepped in front of you at the line or is standing too close behind you at Walmart and you didn't turn around with your milk gallon and whop them upside the head. It may sound stupid, but give yourself credit for the small things, and eventually you'll start giving yourself credit for the big things. It's a constant thing. Got to rewrite those trauma reactions. So yeah, cool for you. You go. Let's see. Alex is saying, okay, you're talking back and forth. Agree. Yeah, talking about the cycle of emotional abuse, especially with a partner. We love him more than anything. We hate hurting him. We'll be better. Yeah, it's rough when somebody tells you you're acting like an abuser. But you gotta own up to it, and yeah, it's just. But realize that it's that there are reasons that you're acting that way. There are reasons. Don't use them as an excuse, but accept that there are valid reasons for your behavior. Now is the time to move beyond those and do better, or at least try to do better. Sometimes just the trying is more important than the doing. And yeah, I know Yoda's all do or do not. There is no try. Yeah, there is. And sometimes trying can be the hardest thing in the damn world. So Yoda, in this case, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so yeah. Anyway. Didn't feel like okay, yeah. Agrees, emotional abuse. Yeah, try to find something you look forward in the appointments, or try to guess what the waiting room will look like. I bring fidgets. Yeah, exactly. Good tips. Blue Rose, thank you all on Rose's rent. Do you mean taking my grounding box with me to the appointment? Yeah, absolutely. She's going to answer pretty much anything that we're going to say anyway, so we're just going to read what she says. Specific grounding items good for me at doctor's appointments are strong scented essential oils, good stones for your pockets, and for dentist music. Yeah, headphones for sure. Advocate for pocket grounding items at all times. Yeah, and you may just want to make a travel self-care bag. You know, that's a great idea. We have our little one that we take with us. Didn't think about that. So once again, Roses comes in with the great things. Okay, let's see. Try comparing to everyone. It's how we grow. Okay, Ellie is saying, try comparing to everyone. It's how we grow up, checking if we were as good or not. Now I guess that we use it as a way to cope with getting better or worse. Yeah, exactly. It's a learned pattern that we all fall back on. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. And good for you for recognizing that. Let's see, Spindle saying, you and mom are both system. Of course, that double-sided coin of it being sad, but certainly not a common experience. Yeah. Let's see, Rose is killing more trolls. Thank you. It's been trolly today for some reason. Okay, lemon oil, nice strong scent. Yes, absolutely. Citrus scents work well. Let's see. I'm sorry, Alex is saying sibling is a system too. There are 3 of us. Yeah, that's probably more common than y'all would think. We strongly suspect that our stepsister is also a system because she was subject to a lot of the same thing that was given to us by our stepfather and our abusers. In fact, we know directly from, yeah, we know. And she freaked out. She went full blown into the mental crisis centers, inpatient treatment centers when she hit about 16, 17. And we were actually out, or our egg donor had divorced our stepfather finally at that point, but she was with us and she went off the deep end, and we never could figure out exactly why, but now we know why. So we strongly suspect that she's a system, and particularly in households where there is generational trauma, generational sexual abuse and physical abuse and things like that. Now keep in mind, DID doesn't always have to be caused by sexual abuse. Physical, emotional, mental, being in a war zone, deprivation of basic needs, these can all do it. But unfortunately, a lot of the time it's caused by sexual, physical, and emotional abuse. So in families with generational abuse going on, yeah, there's probably more than one system there. Would not be surprised. And actually, that realization has actually helped us to deal with some of our feelings with our stepsister as well, and not judge her as harshly as we used to. Okay, so Roses is talking about, yeah, letting the dentist do their thing with earbuds on, and she said it doesn't, or they say it doesn't work for everyone. Let's see, Be the Verse, thank you for your emotions in that powerful rant. We totally agree with everything you said. Learning to feel our anger, okay, we've been ranting so much today, and emotionally regulate so it doesn't impact those around us is ongoing work. Yeah, it's tough. Peppermint oil is also great, Steph says. It's also helpful against mild headaches. Yeah, Roses is really good with the herbalism and whatnot, so she can definitely give some great tips on that. T said it's so cute. Thank you. Yeah, we found it in a thrift store. We were looking around, and all of a sudden Percival's like, ooh, that. We're like, it's ugly, man. It's that avocado green. I don't care. It's a proper tea set. It's like, yeah, it's like, dude, I want that teapot. It's like, okay, we'll get it if you shut up. It's like, but no, really, just little things like that for your altars. It helps with internal communications so much. And making everybody feel valid. Let's see. Let's see. Solidarity into listening, all good vibes. Tea, yeah, tea is important. Yes, it is. And we've come to realize that it's that part of the ritual of making the tea is part of the tea itself. It's that little steps. It's the steps, and it's something that's dependable, and you do the same thing every time. And systems will find a lot of comfort in routine once we get them established. It's little things. This is why we're so resistant to change. Moving, oh my God, we've moved way more times in our life than we like to. And we know that we may have one more before we're finally done, depending. But it sucks because it puts it plays murder with us. And that was before we even knew that we were a system. We can only imagine now the shit that it would stir up. But yeah, so yeah, tea, rituals, little things make all the difference. For littles, it might be helpful to have a little toy or cozy animal with you. Steph is saying we're talking about going out. Yeah. Comfortable Life is asking, do you know of any DID channels by those 70 or older? No, unfortunately not. And if there is anyone out there who is aware of a channel, drop it in the comments so that folks can find it. As far as we know, we're the oldest one on YouTube, but then we don't really browse a lot of other channels simply because we don't have a lot of time. So there might be folks out there, if we haven't run across you yet, sorry, we're not trying to assume the mantle or anything like that. There was one other male body system. They were called the Others. I don't think they were older than us, though. I think they fused or integrated or something. I haven't seen them around in quite a while. That was right in around that whole big kerfluffle that happened last year, the year before that, in the community. So, yeah. Blue Rose says, makes sense. Don't think that will work for us. Glad this first appointment is just the intake, but still very scary. Blue Rose, we're going to talk to you directly about that. It was scary as hell for us. We were totally expecting to go in there and be thrown into a freaking padded room. You know what? Didn't happen. Actually, as it turns out, it's nothing like what they show on TV. You just go in there and answers, their questions. Just kind of basically have a conversation. Don't try to change yourself or soft pedal. Just be completely and utterly freaking honest. Be honest with your answers. Be honest with your emotions. If there's something that you experience or that, and you can particularly tell because they'll ask you a question and your insides will go, yeah, I'm not answering that. Those are the questions that you should answer. And also keep in mind, you might as well go ahead because you're sending signals to the professionals that you're not even aware of. And we go into this and trauma doesn't lie. You are constantly sending signals and behaviors that you're not even aware of. You're not aware of them. And only the person with that outside perspective and training can pick up on those accurately. They have the perception, the perspective that you don't have. But yeah, it's really scary going in there. Very scary. But we can tell you that it's nowhere near as bad as you think it's going to be. They're not going to slam you in a rubber room. They're not going to sedate you. You're not going to be laying there on a couch with a guy with a pad saying, tell me about your mother, unless you are. I mean, it's like in our case, boy, we could tell you quite a bit about our egg donor. No, we won't. So yeah, but don't be afraid. The change is scary. Taking that first step is hella scary. We had made a promise to our wife that we would get help after that disastrous Christmas when we blew up all over our stepson and threw him out of the house for no fucking reason at all. Just because we were having our Christmas trauma reaction and didn't realize it, and then it just kept building and building. And after that happened, she looked at us and she said, "You're out of control, and I may want you to promise to get help." And we did. We went in for anger management and things like that, and went in expecting that maybe to be, diagnosed as high-functioning autistic or whatnot, and that was enough. But surprise! But yeah, even then it was nothing like what we expected it to be. So take a deep breath, practice calming things, take something with you to do it, but it's not going to be as bad as you expect. The anticipation of the thing is always worse than the actual event itself. So just hang in there, and we totally support you for doing that. You've taken the first step. There's the other cat. Just a moment. Come on. At this point, I might as well just leave the door open so you guys can come in and out. Hi. Are you going to cat bomb too? Okay, so, definitely Blue Rose. Good luck to you. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. It won't be as bad as you think. Trust us on this. Okay, so they're saying that they do have a little soft keychain with you always. Good. Excellent thing. Virtual hug, okay. Virtual hugs are always okay. Feel free to give them out. Roses is saying about good rocks and whatnot, and being upfront with your dentist about your trauma. Yeah, absolutely. And they still may look at you, but you're like, I'm not kidding about this. And after the first time, they'll listen to you. No worries. Everybody in every system is unique. Yes, absolutely. Touches wanted. This is all virtual, so we should be good. Okay, so virtual hugs to y'all. M, thank you very much. Roses is saying that they have to explain to every dentist that you have bad teeth from abuse because it shows in your dental history, so I've gotten really good at that talk, yeah. We have some parallels. Okay, Spindle says, blanking out, think maybe the 6 pieces of 8. Actually, don't think that's a 70s plus channel. It's 5 pieces of 9. Who is one of our subscribers. Kind of surprised that they haven't popped up in the chat here, but they've been undergoing some stuff recently. It's 5 Pieces of 9, and that's the name of their channel. And they have a unique way of telling things, and they're kind of like with us, they're kind of getting and sharing some of the darker things, but they do it in their own way. They're not comfortable being on camera at this point, so they use text and graphics and whatnot. But we think that they're around the same age as us or a little bit younger than us. But yeah, definitely worth checking out, at least. It may not be your cup of tea, but then. Huh? No, we're still streaming. It's just the cats were meowing and scratching, so it's just, might as well open it. Why? Do you need to get in here? All right, just a sec. Wife needs to come in for a sec, so we're going to go ahead and mute you guys. Just hang out, and I'm going to go through the chat log to try to hook these things. So let me just mute this real quick. Unmute. There we go. Okay, yeah, welcome back. Thank you guys. Sorry, wife needed to come in for a little bit, take care of some business. All right, so we are back. We were with 5 Pieces of 9. Emma saying they like swearing. Who doesn't? We try not to early because we were still raised in that era where it was considered crude and crass and only vulgar people swear. And now, of course, we listen to our daughter who has a mouth like a trucker. And we're going, oh, where did we go wrong? And then it's like, well, you can only kind of fight society for so long. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Don't just sit there and paw at us. Come on. Get up here. Come on. There we go. Sheesh. This one is called Colby. So I'm sorry, Cheddar. So we have Colby, who you met earlier, and this is Cheddar, who is way more of a lap cat than his brother, but he's also kind of insistent. So we're going to try to do these. Okay, so yeah, 5 Pieces of 9. Okay, we got that. Feel free to go ahead and check those out. And like Pia was saying, apparently YouTube will unsubscribe people from channels. So if you're not getting any notifications or anything from us, might want to check to make sure that you're still subscribed. And also something that we found out, those of you who are not, when you click subscribe, there is a little bell icon right next to it. Make sure to click that a couple times until it says all notifications, because otherwise it'll only send out like half and some. I mean, obviously, if you only want to be bugged by our notifications, we're not like all up in your face with that. But we did notice that the other day, so we thought that we would mention that. So yeah, for all notifications, click that little bell icon. So let's see, subscription list. But yeah, Pia had gotten unsubscribed for some weird reason. YouTube does this stuff automatically. We have no control over it, and it's the almighty algorithm. But make sure to double check. Okay, yeah, we're coming up to when the first cat came here. Twin Stars is saying they recently discovered a new little. He's a lot younger and more afraid than our other little, and we're all worried since we don't have a communication with him. Sounds like John. Do you have any advice? Just be patient and don't push. If he fronts, just let him kind of do his thing, and chances are he's going to go right back inside if he fronts at all. Just be patient, be kind. Um, Give him and yourself leeway. Just let it happen on its own. That's our best advice, because that's exactly what happened with John. And it's only now, like I said, we were very surprised that he actually spoke to our wife when he was out, or had snuck out. Was it last week before that? And she was like, "I think it was John out," and I'm like, "We're like, really?" Because like anybody. I mean, it took our therapist like 4 or 5 sessions before he would even look or speak to her from the farthest corner of the room where he tried to wedge himself and become one with the wall. So just be patient and don't push. Okay, more kitties. That is an adorable kitty. Yes, he certainly thinks so. He deserves the world, and I will happily give it to him. Thank you. I won't tell him that, though. He's demanding enough as it is. Sir Cheese the Great. Yes, indeed. Spindle's saying that they force themselves to over-celebrate the normal, tiny normal people stuff. He used to cringe each time, not nearly as much. It's important because the bad things get a free pass while the good get overlooked. Yes, exactly. Excellent point, and good for you, Spindle, for realizing that and working on it. And my black shirt has just turned into an orange cat hair forest. Oh well. Come on, lay down. You're fine. I am going to switch my leg though, so stay put. Oh, there we go. Okay, so excellent idea. Lisa, hello. Glad to see you. Roses is talking about the ability to dissociate to the extent of being able to develop DID, OSDD has a generational component. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Boy, we're just getting hit by the trolls today, aren't we? Thank you, Roses, for keeping up on that. Let's see. Spindle was saying, does anyone here dissociate but still present? I just went to spiel about not comparing, but spiel about not complaining. But I wonder if comparing, if it's truly dissociation because I'm not gone. No, you're still there. Okay, there is a difference. A lot of folks will get dissociation and derealization mixed up. Dissociation is basically where you're kind of futzing out for a moment. You're there, but you're not there. It's almost like there's like a pullback effect. At least for us, where all of a sudden it looks like we're watching a movie of our life. Now, derealization is where there's nothing there. You see, it's almost like there's nobody up front. You don't feel like a human being. You're an object, as it were. There is no sense of self. You feel like you're a robot, or just an empty hull. So they do kind of bleed over each other, but it's important to kind of realize that. Dissociation, a lot of the time, this may come off to others as wool gathering, or, oh, I'm sorry, my thoughts were elsewhere. NTs will do this, but they don't do it to the extent that we do, because we're constantly straddling that dissociation, derealization edge. So don't. It's okay if you don't have a sense of self, and it's again, it's on a scale. It's like there's no hard or fast. It's a bell curve. So there, yeah, and it's possible to be co-fronting and have both alters dissociate at the same time, which is extremely confusing. So yeah, absolutely. We get you, Spindle. Let's see, Ellie's saying, feel like they changed hosts every time that they move. It's like a yearly thing, and now that we're in a good place, it's been over a year, we still have the urge to move and change. Yeah, now for us, it's like stay put and put down roots. So we're the opposite. Routines and rituals are very helpful, Steph is saying. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're still talking about the T. It's like everything is surreal, or like my brain is floating, but if somebody asks me a question, I can answer it. Yeah, exactly. That's the dissociation right there. Now, if it was derealization, you'd be going, Who are you? What's a question? Who am I? Why is the sky? Things like that. There's that complete. It's tough to describe. Yeah, Starry Girl saying, yeah, the spindle, yes, you can dissociate but still be there. Let's see here. Definitely dissociative episode. Don't worry, don't doubt that. Roses is saying, yeah, absolutely. Ellie's saying dissociation for them is like fishbowl or falling into a daydream or feeling unreal but still talking as if they're. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And for us, the next step is just that total split. Yeah, like I said, it's weird. We can go on and on for that. Alicia Chiar saying, from what they've learned, dissociation is more of an umbrella term, and there are different levels to it. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting it. It doesn't have to be you totally blanking out. Ellie saying all these people coming in. Spindle saying, see, okay. Yeah, Russian butts or trolls pretending to be Russian butts. Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll stamp on them. Just don't click on any links. Yeah, Roses is like saying, either way, the band hammer hits the same. Yeah, exactly. Like we've said. I don't know who I am a lot of time. Yes, I don't think any of us do. Twin Stars is saying, I'm not sure how old dissociative identity disorder in a nutshell is, but if they're older, but they are older if people are still looking. Yeah. Oh, that's the name of the channel. Okay. We will have to look up that one. Haven't heard of them before. Thank you, Twin Stars. See, this is why we do this as a forum rather than a direct Q&A. So it's kind of half and half because everybody has a piece of the pie and has heard of something that the others haven't. So thank you for that, Twin Stars. Excellent. Mama Cass Reborn, welcome. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Ellie's saying from what they're reading around might be switching constantly without a change in perspective or even a stop in beat with talking or thing. Yeah, it's kind of us Kokon. It's just like sliding in and out all the time. Only things that change is personality usually, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be the sharp total break of fronting. Spindle saying if dissociating is a coping mechanism, then what the heck, brain? We can't even escape, right? No, it's actually that your brain has now decided, hey, you're stable enough now to help to start working on some of this stuff. So yeah, unfortunately our brains work against us, but we feel you. That's a hard mood. Let's see. Now let me escape. That's what's happened. Yes, absolutely. Happened. Yeah, and keep in mind, Starry Girl saying Spindle, sometimes that's the only way to escape. They're talking about the dissociation. What's happening / happened. And that is absolutely correct. And forgive yourself if you're still doing this, because remember, this is our default state. Our brains did this to us to protect us against those experiences that were too intense, that literally separated our personalities out before they had a chance to form and congeal. So cut yourself some slack. But yeah, this also explains why things are so weird. Here's Roses. The dissociative mechanism is what allows neurotypicals to forget and get over traumatic events. In disordered cases, we do this in extremes. Exactly. Roses, I think I should just let you run the show now. No, there are great resources. Seriously, if you ask Roses, they're a font of knowledge. They've been dealing with this for a long time. Okay, let's see. Great mechanism. A certain time in our lives that did grant us survival. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Ellie. Happens a lot when a roommate is talking to me and is a deep talk that I guess I don't want to hear. I find myself trying to focus, but instead I start daydreaming and then come back and like, wait, I have no idea what you said. What were we talking about again? Oh, mood. You kind of develop that. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And then you're like, on the inside, you're going, who are you? Who am I? What the hell are we talking about? Why am I getting a mental image of a yellow flower in a green field? Why do I smell chocolate? Yeah. We don't process information in the same way. Our brains have literally been rewired. So yeah, it's no wonder we're all confused. Spindle saying, I almost wish I wasn't present at all in a weird way, not like I'm asking for memory loss or amnesia. I know that's not a good thing. Why be halfway in and halfway out? Take me all the way out. Yeah, exactly. We know exactly what you're saying there, and I'd love to do that as the core host. Yeah, I'd love to just completely check out, but that's not the way our system works. We're too enmeshed. But we understand that desire. Boy, do we understand the desire to just, and this is kind of what we were touching on before. It's not fair. It's like we never get to rest. We're constantly fighting this. And you just get burned out. You just want it to stop. And this is actually what we were talking about in the substance abuse, the comfortably numb, or rather the just the basic facts. Is this is why we just wanted to stop for 5 blessed minutes, to have silence in our heads, to not be thinking somebody else's thoughts, feeling somebody else's feeling, having trauma pushing at us, all this sensory shit, just for somebody to take that dial from 11 or 12 and take it down to a 1, just to have peace, would be worth more than anything in the world. And there it is. Yeah, hardcore mood there. And that's okay to feel that way. Spindle, it's okay. That's a natural thing. So yeah, Cotton Candy and friends, hey, good to see you. Glad that you made the stream. I'm another cat, yes. Okay, Steph is saying bye-bye, so tired, going to sleep now. Thank you, Steph, for dropping in. Hopefully you got some good info out of this. Take care, rest well, stay warm, and drink water. Self-care, everybody. So thank you, Steph. Cheddar is chunky, yes, both of them. Actually, he's a lot of fluff, but he's a little bigger than Colby. But they're both well-fed, yes. Not fat, not like chunky boy, oh my God, Lord, here he coming. Yeah, he's... they're hefty cats. Okay, so let's see here. Say goodbye. Grace to Grace. Q. Question. Best way as a wife to help calm the stressors? My DO doesn't buy grounding box idea, but sometimes just suggesting shower or nap help. Any other things that help you, especially if touch makes it worse? Yeah, they're getting caught in the, please touch me, I need your warmth and kindness, and stay the fuck away from me because you are a direct danger, even though my brain says that you're not, and I know that you're not, but my reactions are freaking out. Get the hell away. No, please come hug me. Get the hell away. Yeah, we get that. The times when we want that touch the most, we can't ask for it because we've been wired in reverse. And it's frustrating. Let them sort out what they want. They may not even know. You may have to try a whole bunch of different things before you get it. Showers help. Yeah, showers help a lot. Now, this is something that you might want to watch out for, and this might just be applicable to us. But our therapist did cover this, and this goes back to the ice pack and the cool water on the back of the neck. In duress, our body temperature will go up, and particularly in a trauma situation, because again, the stress response cycle is flooding you with the adrenaline and the cortisol and the endogenous opioids. Your body is heating up because it's burning energy at about twice the rate as it kicks it into high gear, which generates a hell of a lot of heat. You may have noticed when you get angry or you're furious, it's like you're just red with rage. This is where it comes from, is because your body temperature will increase. So watch out for a hot shower. But like with us, we're the exception to that rule. Our therapist is like, you should avoid hot showers. We're like, but hot showers relax us. This is because of a trauma association. We were dumped in scalding hot water, basically, or at least it was scalding at times to get us cleaned up in between clients, and that's about as much as we're going to say there. So yeah, whatever works, but running water will help. Oddly enough, the concentrating of a sensation, one particular sensation, like the feeling of the water on you, can help to drown out the others. Hopefully we're making sense on this. We're going to move on. But yeah, we do understand there. Okay, comfortable life, catch the rest on the replay. Absolutely. Thank you for coming in. Emma's what the fuck? Not sure, we're kind of behind here. So Roses is doing some admin stuff. Sorry about that. Don't worry, their mouse is going wonkety. I think it helps them, help he's flashbacking, freezing, etc. Yeah, okay. Roses is giving advance, and Grace is like kind of leading by example. We'll let you guys read it because you probably already have already, because we're going to move on because we're really backlogged on the chat here. Yeah, essential oil. Aromatherapy is a science, not magic. Yeah, absolutely. Lavender and grapefruit. We hate lavender, but yeah, citrus scents. Okay, Blue Rose is saying their husband just keeps talking to me, and when we connect with him, he gives us something to hold. Like maybe you can do a grounding for box for him and do this. Yeah, absolutely. 5. Speaking of 5 pieces of 9, there they are, folks. Sorry that they're late. Don't worry about it. We were just talking about your channel, and somebody actually was recommending it to some of the other viewers there. So yeah, everybody feel free to go check out their channel. They were asking specifically for systems that are older than we are, which is 50, 60s, or 70ish, and we said that we weren't sure what age you were 5, but anyway, and that can be confidential information. So 5 pieces of 9, they're much more withdrawn on the net yet. It took them a lot to start their channel in the first place, and we are so utterly proud of you for doing that, 5. So definitely. But yes, it's good to see you. I was looking for a new episode on your channel yesterday, but anything, so I hope everything was going okay. Wishing the best of all. Everybody's saying, yeah, being grounded for your partner is the best thing you can do for them. Yes. Absolutely. Anchor, yes. Okay, I'm going to repeat this one because Grace is saying, wow, yeah, someone else is holding the tether. This, he says, I'm his anchor. Actually, more a buoy. Don't always feel like one, but just making his lunch can be a huge touching moment. Yes. Okay, and this is a core principle, and this is this is part of what's called a reactive attachment disorder, which we have not chosen to dig into yet on our heavy informative videos. But it does form a large part of trauma, and the gist of it is that if somebody shows us kindness or comfort, we will tend to cling on to that, which is both a positive thing and a negative thing because we need to learn to stand on our own. But again, this is a trauma-based response, which we will cover in another episode because we don't really have all of our things ducks in a row, and we don't like to give bad information, like you guys know. So yeah, but that is a hard thing. We need somebody to help ground us and to be patient with us and to take that time. And the little things can mean everything in the world, whether it's can I get you a cup of tea, honey, or something like that, or oh, I saw this chocolate bar at the store and thought of you, and here you go. Those little things will have an outsized impact on us because we have learned to only expect abuse. So when somebody does something nice, we're immediately suspicious, but then it's also like once we actually learn that it's okay, we're like, oh my God, and the EP takes over, and the next thing you know, we're in massive tears. So yeah. So yeah, definitely. We just wanted to touch on that real quick. Yeah, that's important. Spin was saying, "Lord, here we come." Yeah, that's one of those mean things. It was like a size chart on cats, chunky boys and stuff. Okay, talking about basically portable care kits. Yeah, Lisa's saying, I recall your video with voices at the grocery store. I would be exhausted after 5 minutes of that. Yeah, it goes on all the time. As we're sitting here right now, talking to you, I've got, it never stops. It never stops. And we've even had dreams where all of us are all together in things. We had one dream where Christopher he was fronting and he got triggered fronting in the dream, got triggered in the dream. And all of a sudden, all of us are there as alters an individual, but also him simultaneously comforting him. We had a really wild one similar to that on the outside as well. So don't be surprised when your brain turns itself inside out repeatedly. But yeah, it's exhausting, Lisa. It is absolutely exhausting, and we can't get away from it. We just have to learn to make the best of it. Okay, ooh, wired in reverse. Yeah, yeah. Our brains have been rewired randomly. Highly advocate for aromatherapy. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Spindle's talking about the push and pull of affection and touch, craving love, and then suddenly shoving it away. Why does that sound familiar? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, talking about the running water. Yeah, absolutely. It's the sensory things. We cannot abide the touch of certain fabrics. Absolutely just cannot. Some of it is trauma related, some of it is not. We thought it was just like fabric or chemical sensitivities. Now we know that most of it is trauma based, but some of it is also very soothing. So yeah, the try to play on all of your different senses to help ground you. For example, green. We love green grass, especially the smell of green grass. So it's kind of a 2-for-1. So, okay, here. Yes, okay, Grace to Grace. My Dio takes very, very long, hot showers. He feels safe to vocalize for everyone in there in private, so he thinks out loud to talk through his response. Yeah, we do the same when we're in extremis. We will hit the wall on certain things where it's like, okay, our world just went to shit. We need to get our shit together. We are going to sit here in this shower until we are pink prunes. We don't care how long it's going to take, but we are not going to leave this damn shower until we have come to an agreement. So we know exactly what your DO is talking about there, Grace. Absolutely. And that is a good thing. So let him do it. Um, don't discourage that. Offer alternate things that may work as well, but don't try to move away from that because a lot of systems, it's kind of like this stubbornness. We will dig in our heels the more you try to suggest something. It's kind of a weird thing. I'm not sure I can really, or that we can really explain it too well. Like cold showers, but developed asthma. We're sorry. Let's see. Shen Z is saying that their body's 38. For YouTube, that's old. Yo, 50. What up? Let's see. Ellie's saying hot showers are amazing and really wish we can just stand under them forever. Oh my God, yes. Okay, we hate traveling really, but the one thing it's like stopping off like at a campground or something like that is the unlimited hot water. Oh my God, we could literally stand there and have for a couple of hours. Just it's like we fell asleep in camping showers back when we were younger and would do that kind of thing. Let's see. Yeah, Spindle is talking about one of 5 pieces of 9's videos being touching. Yeah, absolutely. They deal with hard stuff as well, but they deal with it in their own way, in their own style, and some of it is just like, yeah, absolutely. So let's see here. That's still in your prime, Sandy. Yeah. Be the verse is saying co-regulation helps me breathing slow and deep and keeping breath and body movements. Yeah, absolutely. We keep recommending this technique. It's like Tai Chi, but it's actually called Qigong, which is very much breath, body. The movements are they can be tough, but it's the real thing comes when you're matching the breath and the motions, and it puts you like into this very calming, very centering, puts you into this Zen state. We do it fairly, I think it's like a 15-minute routine. But yeah, it works really well. Just Google type 8 pieces of silk into YouTube there, and it'll pull up the video of this little wizened old Chinese lady who will kick your ass looking at just doing this stuff so easily, and you're like, oh my God, I'm hurting. Please change your position. She's a badass, man. Hardcore. This woman is like, damn. But it's great. So yeah, breath and body regulation. We highly recommend that. Let's see. Adults are cast aside in popular media and online. Once you hit 23, you're eligible for a veterans discount. It's up to us to change that narrative. Let's go, 20 and 30 somethings. Yeah, we've had okay boomer more than once. It's like, don't you dare! We are not baby boomers. We are Gen X. Damn it, we're not a baby boomer. There is a huge difference. Because everybody just kind of, it's like lately we've noticed it's like okay, baby boomers to millennials. It's like excuse me, excuse me. So yeah, let's see here. Yeah. Think of using another channel for the lighter stuff and a channel for the heavier stuff. Not sure how to do so. Just do it. Start up a new channel under another name, or make it 5 pieces of 9 part 2. Do whatever feels right to you. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with starting more than one channel. We just have the one. Okay, well that's not true. We had a channel way back before we were ever diagnosed that covered the paranormal, and it was just kind of a chintzy, just something to do as a hobby. We've long been interested in paranormal and UFOs and stuff like that. Except with our show, it was okay. Let's take and try to deal with this seriously and actually figure out what this thing might be, rather than just jumping right to it's aliens. So, needless to say, we weren't terribly popular for that. It's much easier for people to slap up, oh, it's aliens. We've got this video that is obviously a plane flashing. It's like, rather than going, okay, this is a plane flashing, obviously, and here's why. It's, oh, it's aliens. It's like no, I can't even remember the name of the big channel, but it was just a thing, basically. We kind of turned it into a quirky little comedy at the end. But yeah, make another channel. Do whatever you want. YouTube is a free environment type of a thing. That's one of the great things and one of the bad things about it. Do what you feel is right. Okay, so off the channel, place for healing, and think that, yeah, go for that. Okay, Roses is going to do chores and adulting things. Absolutely. Thank you, Roses. Bye. Take care. We'll chat with you later. We always appreciate you doing this. Let's see. Remember that you are renting service. Thanks for offering. Have a good thing. Okay, almost midnight where you live. Bye, Alicia. Get some rest. Stay warm. Self-care. Drink water. Or hot cocoa. Whatever. Thanks for the advice. Okay, hey, we're finally getting caught up. Hey, I think we just did. Okay, excellent. Alicia went. Phoenix. Okay. Okay, Ellie. Thank you. We'll see you guys later. Wait, is being a baby boomer a bad thing? No. Well, I don't know. Ask a millennial or a Gen Y or Z or whichever. They keep adding letters. It's like, I don't know. But basically, apparently, if you're like over the age of 40, you're a boomer. It's like, no, those are the folks in the senior citizen homes, okay? You're shooting at the wrong ducks here. I don't know. Well, it's just... And when you're younger, and I have to admit, we kind of did the same thing. You just kind of think that, well, your generation is the only one aware of this and is dealing with these problems, and it's all the other generation's fault. Why didn't they fix this? Let me tell you why we didn't fix things, Gen Zs and millennials. Because it's only now that the frickin' baby boomers are finally dying off and starting to get out of power, and people from our generation, some of them who have their heads screwed on straight, are finally now in the positions to make those changes. Why do you think that all of a sudden we're actually treating global warming somewhat seriously? Okay, it's change can happen abruptly, but most of the time it's keeping at it and keeping at it and keeping at it, and with each generation as it goes along, we progress a little farther. Think of LGBTQ rights, equal amendment rights, all of these things. Okay, in the 50s, the 40s, not that long ago, actually, these were major issues that weren't even talked about. And now we're in a place where this is part of the public discourse. People may still disagree virulently, and there's still bigotry and racism out there, but at least now we're having that conversation. And I'm not saying that Gen X is taking credit for it or anything. Okay, it's a progression. And you got to give some of us time, because these guys have been clinging to power, these fat cats, for way, way, way longer. Things are changing. Things are getting better. But it's behooving on you guys to keep that torch burning and to carry it forward, okay? And to teach your children in turn to do these. And with each generation, we are finally pulling the human race out of kindergarten and out of the muck and into the realization that, oh, gee, we're one species on one planet, we're living in the fishbowl, and maybe it would be a great idea if we put all of our bullshit aside and started thinking of ourselves in that way. Rant over. So. Okay, so people are being prejudiced to that age group because some people in that age group are very ignorant and entitled. Yeah, absolutely. Poster cards for white privilege, or just, yeah, Zoomers is just jealous all that as decades. Let's see. Yeah, okay. It was way easier for boomers to get housing and jobs, so it's not easier. So it's easier for them to say, just get a job. Um, yeah, it was. And Gen X, when we came along, we were the first ones to feel that. To be dead honest, most of the Gen X, we didn't expect to live past 35. We grew up being told that we were going to be vaporized in a fucking nuclear war, and we would have maybe a split second or maybe 15 minutes worth of warning and stick your head between your ass and your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. We grew up very fatalistic because we were caught between the damn boomers and just our hippie parents, and so like we just said, we ranted, so there it is. But yeah, it's real easy to lose your perspective, and to be dead honest, here's a secret, guys. Most older, as you get older, like we do, most of the times we want you all to realize that inside we're basically all the same. There's really not all that much. We are still that teenager that went to the mall in the 80s. You know, we still want to hang out and do cool shit. It's like, but we're trapped in these meat shells that are slowly decaying around us. So it's important to keep that attitude. And that's why you see so many of us Gen X kids. You know, it's like the 80s, they were a great time to be alive. Yeah, but it also sucked hardcore. Hardcore. I mean, you want to talk about the prejudice and shit like that. It was ingrained into us. Fortunately, it was also changing at the same time. But it's age is a number. Okay, so don't get too hung up on it. Now I am starting to sound like an old guy, but anyway. Let's see. Yeah, baby boomers are not the problem. Society is. Yeah, loud. Lol. Yeah, exactly. And there's always certain sections. Yeah, Twin Stars, who do you think sets the rules for society? The people who are in power. That's who. Take a real close look at the people who are in power and think. Yeah, Lisa, I'm Gen X too proud of it. Exactly. I think we just subscribed 5 and 9. Yeah, that's it. Spindle saying sort of like how people thought rock and roll was the devil, and then Gen X was dubbed the party generation. Yeah, exactly. Millennials are the selfie generation, but real progress is being made. Labels undermine it. Yes, exactly. That was kind of our point there. Yeah, see, Infinity's got it. I go uni with Zoomers, but I'm a bit older, but they are annoying. Well, there's annoying bits of any generation. Trust me, we have plenty of our own asshats and dickweeds, okay? Ugh. But most of us pretty much get it. Let's see here. 5 Piece of 9 saying, we feel that these days are much more difficult to deal with than the days that we were raised in. Yeah, they are. Things are more intense. Mass communication, the little thing that you're holding in your hand or watching this on the internet. We're old enough to where we got both worlds. We grew up with it evolving, but we still remember when mass communication, the way that we have it now, was not a thing. Things moved a little bit slower. But as a result of that, evolution of these social issues also moved slower. It's only now when I'm able to sit here, or we're able to sit here and talk to somebody who's over in the UK or India live, that in real time. Man, if you told Christopher D this when he was 12, we were 12, he would have freaked out, man. It's like, what? It's like, but by the same token, that has kind of exacerbated all of these issues congealing all at once. So it's more, you guys are way more inundated by information, and you have to take in and process it far more rapidly than we do. So, but we get that. So yeah, not sure if I actually made a point there, but there it is. Let's see, too logical, what are you on about? Glad to know every generation still alive grew up being told you're going to die before you turn 20. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's like with us, the nukes are going to fall, we're fucked, and we're either going to be dead or we're going to be, the slave masters of the evolved cockroaches that will come after us, or, end up mutants of human races. Why do you think post-apocalyptic movies are so popular? Yeah. Which unfortunately, okay, one last rant, has also led to the whole, oh, well, rather than fix things, let's just burn it all down. There's some people that just want to watch the world burn. And unfortunately, a lot of them are in power right now, or are willing to do anything. Just burn it all down. Anyway, okay, enough of that. There's a difference between being an anarchist and an asshole. Okay. Let's see. It's hard to say boomers didn't have it hard. It's that they have tendencies to not extend that compassion to the younger gen. Yeah, well, they weren't taught to be emotionally effusive. Back then, I saw my grandfather cry exactly 2 times in his entire life. So yeah. Spindle's saying it's not to negate the struggles of the boomer age. Goodness, mental health was heavily stigmatized back then, and in a way it is still now. Yeah, absolutely. It's a slow transition and a slow evolution. What makes right now feel so intense is that we have all of these issues coming to a head at the same time. Instead of dealing with them one by one, now we have the internet and everything, and all of these issues are right there in our faces. And this is part of the problem. This is why things are so chaotic. But this is also a gold-plated opportunity. We are at a critical juncture in our evolution as a species where we have the choice to go, okay, we effed up. These are the things that were bad. Now, what are we going to do to make it better? Let's not wallow in the crap. Let's do something. We can make these things better if we all come together. So there we go. We're getting back into the rant. Anyway, it's just frustrating. Oh, damn it. There's another Russian. Boy, we are just popular. Remove. And hide user. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Twin Star is just making the world better one generation at a time. And that's exactly how it works. Change is slow, but it does happen. But like I said, right now we have a chance to make that rapid change. But it's going to come with hiccups. Be the verse. Feel like every generation will have ignorant and educated, compassionate and controlling people in a mix, but that those in power set us to blame one another so that we don't notice that they're the problem. Spindle, I do miss malls though. Oh dear God, yes. Mimi is always going on about what happened to the malls? What did you do with the malls? It's like she does not understand that the mall just does not exist the way that it used to. And she finds it greatly sad. And frankly, so do we. If we wanted to be a time traveler, one of the things that we would love to experience and would be to go back to the height of the malls with some money in our pockets, because man, it was great. Holy crap, you guys have no idea how cool malls were back then, you younger folks. Yet another thing that the internet has basically killed. Thank you, Amazon. Yeah. Okay, this be the verse. I also feel like the more mental health and trauma informed this world gets, the better at communicating and progressing we'll all get as a society. So there's some hope. Yeah, there's always hope. Always hope. That's Organsoft. Just a warm hello from here. Too tired to stay much longer. We'll watch later. Have a nice stream. Thank you for popping in and saying hello. We saw your comment. Ah, come on, Russian trolls, go away. Okay, Spindle's saying 90s and 2000s was all about stranger danger. Yeah, absolutely. But you can't actually scare the kids and tell them that sometimes it's not a boogeyman with a tacky mustache and actually those closest to you. Yeah, there's a sticky wicket. There's a sticky wicket. Mistake of saying, I'm sorry, I think it was Alex, my parents are boomers and I feel bad for their mental health, to be honest. Yeah, man, to be that repressed for that long, to grow up with all those walls and those boxes closing you in, sucks. We didn't start the fire. Yep, Billy Joel, good one, Em. We got that. Yeah, 5 Pieces 9, we were taught not to feel anything ever. Boys don't cry, etc., which is why we called our episode, Boys Cry Too. Yeah, absolutely. Lisa Bauer saying, I think the current elites are evil. I'm not the only person who thinks that either. Yeah, but the trouble with that, Lisa, is how do you determine who is who? This is where perspective is important. And that whole put yourself in the other guy's moccasins and walk a mile thing. Yeah, it's we hear you and we understand, but our definition of evil may not be somebody else's definition of evil, and that sucks. Unfortunately, the world is not as black and white as it used to be. But we get you. We get you. We know what you mean. Oh, good Lord. Remove. Block user on the channel. But yeah, we hear you. We just we just watched a documentary on Netflix. We won't name it, but it made our blood run cold. Yeah. Okay, we do need to unite. Yes, absolutely. Everyone, everywhere, regardless, we need to realize that we are a species, and it's time for us to put aside our petty little differences caused by race and class and religion and things like this. There is absolutely no reason why we cannot all coexist together as long as we're respectful. Time to grow up, boys and girls. We're a planet. So yeah, let's see. So we're with you, but the change is happening. This is a good thing. Let's see. Parents are boomers. I don't speak to one of them, and they're pretty left wing. Left wing, right wing. We all want to be happy. The trouble is that we all need to realize, like we were just saying, we're all one species, and that all of these artificial divisions are just that. It's a label. There is no right or wrong. The left isn't evil. The right isn't evil. We're just people with differing perspectives, different experiences, and if we took the time to actually listen and not jump to conclusions, my grandmother used to say, conclusion is a short cliff to jump off of. So yeah, but be true to yourself. Yeah, they're rushing to see the stream. Oh, nice. Good one. Very nice. Okay, we'll skip my comment about breath, body work, giving us a lot of body memories. Any thoughts on how to deal with this? Sorry, we missed the comment, and thank you for bringing it back to our attention the way that we asked in the beginning. Body memories suck. They suck. They're hardcore. We have them constantly. All we have to do is just think about certain things or let our attention drop, and boom, there it is. We're right back in it. We wish we could give you some good some good tips on that. The only thing we found is just mentally telling us, okay, we are not here, we are not now. This is those are when we run for our essential oil in our grounding box and shove it under our nose and go, okay, we're here now. This isn't happening to me now. Unfortunately, a lot of it is just mental control, at least for us. If anybody else has any tips for dealing with that, please let them know, because we could use a few ourselves. But unfortunately, the body memories, they're kind of hard-coded because it's part of the amygdala recording that. It's just coming out in separate pieces instead of all at once. Flashbacks can be partial and they can be total, all depending upon what they are. If you're feeling something that you know is trauma-related, yeah. But please, if anybody knows how to get the hell rid of them, please let us know. Let's see. Damn, boy, they are just all over the place. Okay. At least they're not putting the direct links now, but of course that's their way to get around it. Okay. Socializing happened in the malls. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that was the place to go to hang. You know, it's like what is it? Vibe. There we go. Good and evil is Twin Towers is saying good and evil are useless to me, to be honest. Even if you could define them clearly, it really doesn't give you anything to work with to make things better. Yeah, absolutely. There are certain things that are moral and certain things that are not, if you want to call it good and evil that way. For example, sexually abusing a child, that's evil. You know, killing an animal to wear its skin and or eat its meat, is that evil? According to one culture, say for example, Hindus who believe that basically all life is sacred, for example, a cow, they would never dream of, and please correct us here, Data is the one who normally deals with these facts, and he's not exactly up front right now. It's the cultural and the differences. So what is evil to one culture may not be to the other, which is where we kind of just need to expand our understanding and our definitions. One thing is there really are no hard and fast rules in life, only those that you choose to apply for yourselves, and we choose as a society. This is a bad thing. And some of them are blatantly obvious. It's the ones that are not quite so obvious that can trip us up. which is why it's important to open our brains and try to be understanding and put ourselves in the other person's shoes, and in the other person's cultural awareness. So it's a fuzzy point, and it's a very long conversation. Those are our thoughts on it. So, um, yeah. Could be a goal to work toward breath and body movements, but maybe something personal, ritual, like the tea, for example. Yeah, whatever comforts you. Um, Thank you. This be the first. Thank you, Infinity said. No problem, Das Shaft. Go get some rest. Stay warm. Grace Grow, have to go, guys. Great stream and chat today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Grace, for showing up. Be patient with your DO. Try some of the stuff that we've had and report back to us. Speaking of Starry Girl, hopefully things are going well. And you're making progress towards what we've been talking about on the last couple of streams. I don't know if you're still here or not, but we're pulling for you and we do think about you. So let us know if when you have a chance, drop us a DM or something to let us know how that's going. We care about you guys. And also on that, if any of you hear or have heard or seen Teresa Henson online lately, either on Instagram, Facebook, email, she is the viewer that we had you guys go and show her some love over on Instagram. We'd used the term love bombing before we truly understood exactly what that was all about. And thank you guys for going over there and showing her your support that she's been fighting cancer, had been. We have not heard from her in several months, and we have DM'd her on Instagram twice. The last that we had heard, she was going into the hospital because her lungs were filling up with fluid and she had caught COVID. We would very much like to know if she's alive or not. So if any of you have heard or seen from her, please let us know. Teresa, if you are still out there and you are still with us, please contact us and let us know. Because we care a great deal about you. You made a difference in the world, and we worry. So please let us know if you're not, because if another couple months goes by, then damn it, we're going to have to resign ourselves to the fact that once again the world lost a good person, and that sucks. So yeah, please reach out. And God, we hope that she's not one of those people who burns bright and you don't want terrible things to happen to, but doesn't seem to work out that way. So anyway, sorry. Okay, mindfulness exercises you can do. Spindle is saying to Blue Rose, like swirls, drawing dots, and seeing how close you can draw a straight line between them. Yeah, art works well. Art works well, and don't be afraid of what comes out, because it can be some dark stuff sometimes. Okay, just let it come out. Whatever works for you. Okay, everything was in the mall. Everything. Yes, absolutely. Oh, God, I miss a good old-fashioned arcade. Lining up those quarters. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Be the Verse is saying they found something that helps a little bit with body memories can be to put ice or weight on the area and then, if possible, remove it. Do this visualizing and breath work. So I breathe in, focusing, envisioning cooling and the soothing gel moving through the air. I take it into the area affected. Breathe it out and visualize black tarry shit being extracted and breathed out of the area. Yeah, we were introduced to that in the late 80s as creative visualization. Same thing, and that does work. Unfortunately for us, it wouldn't work well with putting the ice or the heat, the weight on the areas affected, because that was some of the stuff that was done to us. So that wouldn't work for us, but those are great tips. So, let's see, where are we? Remember being Spindle saying, I remember being little and finding out about Captain Planet and being like, why didn't you guys listen to him? We did. We just haven't had the power to do anything. We've been recycling. We've been pushing these things. It's just, they cling to power and it's all stacked. They do die eventually. I'm sorry, that sounds terrible, but it's the truth. So anyway. It can help us sometimes, help us not. Yeah, okay, fits for each. Excuse me. Progress has been slow, Starry Girl says. We tried to, okay, yeah, thank you for answering. Tried to get an apartment, but it was too, excuse me, but it was too expensive. Yeah, unfortunately, you're just going to have to save up for that one, I'm afraid, or find a friend to move in with or whatnot. Keep working it. Keep working at it. Keep going. It's a slog, we know. But we're still pulling for you, so hang in there. And we will keep asking, in case you hadn't noticed. We care about you guys. Let's see. Do you guys like K-drama? Ever heard of Kill Me, Heal Me? It's a bit dramatic at points, but that's just kind of K-drama and in media in general. That being said, it's much better than Split, etc. so far. Have not. We just ran across the goddamn Billy Milligan thing on Netflix last night, and we were like, as you can tell, we're still a little bit angry at that bit of representation. It's like, oh, thank you very much, media. Thank you very much, Netflix, for dragging that particular one through the mud right now and helping to engender more fear in the stereotype of the evil altar. And that we're all just going to freak out and kill someone. No, that's not the way it works. The reverse. People that we're most likely to harm are ourselves. Sorry, excuse me. Triggered. Anyway, Starry Girl, it's been rough being stuck there. Yeah, we know how that feels. Keep at it, one step at a time. We're here with you. You're not alone. Okay? You know that. Might be distant, but we're there with you as best as we can. Yes, visualization, Spindle is saying, imagine the areas affected glowing with healing glitter, blue star power, clearing water. With us, it was always blue light was the thing. Blue light in and crappy stuff out. Negative energy. Chakras, for those of you who are not familiar with the Indian and not the Native American, but India, Hindu, the idea of chakras and alignments. It very much ties in. Sounded like pseudoscience at the time, but as time has gone on, yeah, they knew what they were talking about. So you might want to check that out. Let's see. Cotton Candy and friends. Breathe, and breathe some more. Look around the room, realize where you are, distract yourself. Believe me, it's easier said than done. Yeah, absolutely. You're completely right, Cotton Candy. Absolutely everything was about the mall. Oh yeah. What do you want to do? Let's go to the mall. Hang out in the food court. Of course, unfortunately, there was also a lot of, let's go mock or, make fun of nerds and stuff like that. Yeah. We were the nerd. Okay, so, yeah, K-dramas. We'll look into that, Miss Day. Blue Rose, thank you all. You're really kind and helpful. It's the community. This is why we run our live streams this way. And actually, we're going to have to go and wrap this up. We've been going for a little bit longer than we intended to, and it's getting to be dinner time. Okay, off. Cool. Be the Versus saying, didn't realize it had a name and was a thing. Very mood for not being able to use pressure, weight, or ice. I was hesitant to suggest it for similar reasons. No, it's okay. Yeah, with us, it's our wrists and our ankles for obvious reasons because we were, restrained is a polite way of putting it. Okay, yeah, moving right along. See, it's like, don't worry, we're all right. This is something we deal with every day. Okay, so, yeah. Turtle System, hello, you're always coming in right at the end. Darn it. Glad you didn't miss it this time, Mary. Mary, we are just literally starting to sign off. We've been going for about, 3.5 hours here, and we're beat. But feel free to check the live play. Darn it, we really hate it when folks come in and they miss it, because we really want to spend time with you all. So, Turtle, hello, we're sorry. Please forgive us. M says, personally hate Psycho since I do film, and the way my last teacher glorified it made me really sad at the prospects of working with a director who loves, and there's probably hundreds, oh God. Psycho gave us nightmares. We're talking the original, obviously, with, was it Roddy McDowell who did it? I think. We're not, we might be mixing up our, no, we're definitely mixing up our actors there. But yeah, we know, that shower scene, we weren't able to take showers for it. Years after that. The remake wasn't that shot for shot remake wasn't that great either. We feel you. We feel you. We get it. Let's see. Cotton Candy, your friend says, breathe. Yes, breathe. Thank you, Be the Verse saying, thank you. We appreciate your time and energy and everything you do. You've been very helpful, and we've got a lot of journal notes to try out. Same, Ray, wrists and ankles. You're not alone in that BS. Yeah. Truss us up like a Thanksgiving turkey. Hitchcock. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Hitchcock was a master at film. He was all about don't show everything, which is way creepier than the torture, porn, and the gore and crap that's become so prevalent. And yeah, what we're talking about here. That's the same reason that we love not Spielberg, damn it, 2001 Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick. Hitchcock and Kubrick, you can learn a lot about film from watching those two. Kubrick stuff can be kind of intriguing, though, depending upon what you're watching. But yeah, Em, we feel you. We know our film pretty well. Okay, Turtles. We had a lot of personal struggles with toxic family members, so we are struggling a lot. Mary, hang in there. It's tough. It is. Yeah, we feel you. If you're not out already, get out as soon as you can. It's scary as hell, but it'll be better in the long run for you. And we do know that there are those of you who are stuck. You're trapped at the moment. You're not alone. You're not alone in what you're going through. There is always somebody out there in the community or even out of the community who has been through it, system or non-system. You're not alone. None of us are alone in these experiences. And DID is probably the loneliest damn thing in the world, despite the fact that you got all these people going on up here. And we get it. We get it. We know better than anybody how it feels. So hang in there. Don't give up. Keep plugging away. And it's a battle. We know. But every step forward that you make, every time that you try, every time that you say, no, I am not going to continue this cycle, I am not going to do this to other people, I am going to take responsibility, you are proving your abusers wrong. All of those things that they told you to knock you down and keep you in your place and make you feel worthless, every time you take a step forward and every time you choose to get up out of bed and every time you choose to try when everything inside of you says stop, hide, cry, pull in on yourself and give up is a victory. Not only for you, but over your abusers. You are proving them wrong every time. So keep up that fight. Give yourself credit. Give yourself slack. Self-care. It's okay not to be strong. You don't have to be strong all the time. But every time you make those decisions, whether it's getting up in the morning to deciding to eat something, even though you don't want to eat, all those little victories, take them for what they are. Small steps are sometimes just as important as big ones because they build up. So keep it up, okay? Yeah, you're currently trapped. Yeah, I get it. Thank you, Spindle. We hope that you come in next time as well. Turtle, we feel you. What we just said, keep that in mind. You're not alone. Yeah, 5 is saying they know their system's still living with the perps. I don't know how they have the strength to do that, but systems are as strong as they need to be, and we are way stronger than anybody ever gives us credit for. Think about it. We have endured stuff that most people would never want to happen, okay? And we've endured it not just once, but many, many, many times. DID systems, trauma victims, whether you're DID, OSDD, BPT, CPTSD, you are strong because of it. Not in spite of it, because of it. Because we have been gifted with a singular understanding of what that feels like. And this is why you find so many trauma victims working in the mental health field, because we get it better than anyone else. And we want to save others from feeling that and going through it. So give yourselves credit. Gives yourself slack and keep at it as best you can day to day. Okay? All right, guys, we are going to, yes, we are stronger than they will ever know. Absolutely. So, guys, we are going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you very much for coming on the stream. Thank you, guys. Mark, I know you're already off here, but thank you for your incredibly generous donations. Not expected, not required in any way, shape, or form. but it's there if you want to. So that's all. We've mentioned it all too much already. Thank you guys for tuning in, and always remember, guys, say it with us, you are loved. You are strong. And you are not alone. Never alone. Okay? Thank you guys. Self-care. Go get warm. Go eat. Drink water. Snuggle up. Netflix and chill. Hug your kids. Hug your significant other. Hug your dog or your cat. Whatever helps to make you feel better. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks, guys, for watching. This is Chris, Data, and all the rest of us going up in here, signing off. Have a great day.